Since the 14th century, Raby Castle in County Durham has stood proud in the landscape. Home to the mother of 2 kings of England, and the center of a plot to oppose Queen Elizabeth I, this is a castle of drama, power, and intrigue.
Magnificent. Absolutely vast. And to think that this 14th century castle still stands today is astounding. Oh my goodness. And right over there, of course, is the keep, which would have been the heart of the medieval castle. So I cannot wait to get inside and explore more and meet Harry and Kate, Lord and Lady Barnard. I'm so excited. When I married into the British aristocracy, it was the start of a wonderfully exciting journey. But for an American girl from a small town outside Chicago, that was also a little daunting.
I live with my husband Luke, the Earl of Sandwich, and our family at Mapperton House in Dorset.
Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all.
So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join this American Countess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses. Raby Castle has been home to the Vane family for 400 years. But this place traces its roots back to the 11th century. Raby has been both a fortress and a home, with successive generations adding to the style of the interiors. This impressive castle is now under the care of Harry and Kate, Lord and Lady Barnard.
Come in.
Hello. Hello. It was amazing.
Julie.
Hello, hello, hello.
Lovely
So
to
nice
see
to see you. So nice to see you. And wow, welcome.
Welcome to Raby.
This is a welcome. I mean, this is incredible. Okay, I feel like I've just walked through and the exterior is medieval, but I'm walking in here and this is not medieval. Was it once medieval? Give me the history, because this is quite an entrance.
There's a reason for that, because it was medieval. The whole castle, 14th century, and in fact parts of it go back to earlier. There was a manor house here from the 12th century onwards, and this hall is thought to be where it all started.
Okay.
So it would have just been a hall, but then the kind of kitchen area would have expanded that end, and then as they got more sophisticated, the private quarters that end.
Right.
And that's how it sort of developed. But then in the 18th century, so it was a medieval hall, in the 18th century, they realized they couldn't quite get the carriages round the courtyard, so they thought, what do we do? So let's just go through, and that's what happened.
No.
So to do that, they had to raise the roof.
So they raised the roof and created these vaulted ceilings.
Yeah.
But also to make it quite grand, because it's a castle after all. Did they want this sort of grand arrival entrance?
Oh, without a doubt, yes. I mean, you've got, your arrival here, having been in a cold carriage for a long time, bumping along, and arriving here and seeing the castle in front of you and its grandeur.
Yes.
And then you finally arrive in here, you dismount from your carriage with 2 roaring fires. I mean, it must have been an incredible feeling. And then your horse carries on, gallopy out that way.
So the carriage would just sort of deposit people here.
Yeah.
And then go through and sort of park itself someplace else.
Yeah. And you would have there were tapestries to keep you warm by that particular fireplace. So that would have stopped any drafts while people were waiting.
And later on as well, if anyone was going hunting or wanting to go riding,
Right.
they would come in here and they'd be kind of saddled up and everything here and get on their horses here,
Yeah.
and then
The
off
groom
they
would
went.
bring it. Yeah, the groom would bring their horse up here, and I mean, your father, I think, used to get on his horse in here. I've ridden in here.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. I once
how-
came up, and it's quite unnerving as you come through the Neville Gateway because it's very clattery.
Right.
And I thought that the horse would spook, but it was fine. And you know, the fire was roaring, and the horse seemed completely fine.
Yeah.
At that time, the castle was kind of open to the public. There was quite a lot of people milling around in the hall, so they got a bit of a surprise when suddenly Kate appeared
Kate
on a
appears
horse.
on a horse. Fantastic. And not wanting the horse to be spooked, of course. Yeah. So this has stayed the same since the 18th century, since it was sort of repurposed, if you like. But I have noticed these carriages here, and this is on display, is that right, for the public to come and see this, but also to give the idea of what would have been in this,
Absolutely.
in this entrance hall, yes.
Just to understand Raby, it's the scale at every corner, because everything is so big.
Yes.
It's big, but it's not flashy. It's just solid and big, and I think that's what it's all about here.
Right. And these carriages, are they part of the family, or?
Yes.
Right.
They're the coats of arms. The thing about Raby is that there's a full collection of sort of everything, whether it be kettles, whether it be carriages, whether it be paintings. The full collection is there. So yes, there's a couple of fire engines, and the coach house was full of coaches, as you would expect there to be.
Yeah.
So
it's just, I mean, for me, it's incredibly amusing just to walk in here. It was not what I was expecting to see, sort of carriages in a house. I mean, let's be honest. Of course, it's a castle. It's open to the public, but it's been in your family for, I think, 400 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, since 1626. So yeah,
right.
400 years.
Yeah,
just about.
400 years.
Gosh, we better start thinking about having a party for the anniversary.
Yes, exactly right. And bringing out these carriages. Now, this one, can I just, because I love coat of arms. Is this your family's coat of arms?
Yes, the three gauntlets are.
Okay.
Those became the Vane family coat of arms because in the Battle of Poitiers, the French king John, who surrendered, was supposed to have surrendered to Sir Henry Vane.
Right.
So that became his coat of arms, and by surrendering, he took off his gauntlet.
Okay.
And then the other side is the Exeters. So this carriage will be when the 9th Lord Barnard married Catherine Sarah Exeter Cecil from Burley House.
From Burley House. Okay, so it's been impaled with her coat of arms and then your coat of arms.
Yeah.
And when was this carriage used then? Because of course you've got the coronet there.
It would have been used in coronations primarily.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for incredible. Now, the one thing I do want to ask you both is, of course, we've got to backtrack here because I need to understand, I guess, the history of your family, where it all began, how Raby came into your family and has been in your family for 400 years. So what do I need to what century do we need to go back to?
It depends whether you're talking about my direct family or if you're talking about the history of the castle, because basically it's 2 acts, if you like, with an intermission. That's an easy way of thinking about it. So the first were the Nevilles, who built the castle and were actually there for over 400 years. And then they lost it, and then the Vanes came along in 1626 from Kent. They were in their own right. They were quite wealthy. They had a place called Fairlawn, quite connected with the court.
Okay.
And it's been in the family ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who did they buy it from?
Well, they bought it really from Charles I because, he was sort of needing a bit of money, a bit of cash, actually.
And that's where then your family really put down roots here. It starts with the Vanes in the 17th century.
That's right. I mean, at the time when they bought Raby Estates up here, they still had this place in Kent, and that carried on for kind of another 100 years. So this was like their kind of secondary, I wouldn't call it a holiday home, but you know.
I think it was their hunting estate, wasn't it? They really enjoyed
that kind of thing.
Their hunting.
Yeah, but then the younger son was given the Kent property, and the older one got this one. And, you know, it's carried on through the line.
Through the line. Oh my goodness. Okay, now this is making sense. So because, you know, it's always nice for me to come to these places and, of course, learn about the history and the architecture and the fabric of the building, but also to hear about your family who's been here for 400 years and the family beforehand. But I love it that you described it as 2 acts.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
Yes.
But also even having 2 acts is quite astonishing.
But just remember that in the intermission, if you like,
yes,
there was quite a lot of people trying to get hold of this as well. So it was eventually taken by Vane. But I mean, the church was trying hard to get hold of it. And
so the church was trying to get hold of it.
Yeah.
Charles I had it. You know, and that was the intermission. And and it's still standing today.
Yeah.
Okay, as I'm walking up these steps, this is just fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Can I just ask how many rooms? I know that's a really hard question. Roughly.
I don't know. Some people say 110, but I don't think
it's around 100 to 110. But what is a room? Because some of the walls are 15 or 20 feet
That's
thick,
right.
and then they've hollowed out bits within the walls,
You
which could be a room. It could be a cupboard. What
exactly.
do you call
What's
it?
a room?
Yeah.
And if you're counting this as one room, technically in today's modern world, this would be like 20 different rooms in here if I were to put up some type of divider.
Oh, yes, no, that's right. But when it comes to rooms, you see, I mean, even some of the sort of broom cupboards can be the size of a decent sized bedroom. So
I want to see one of those broom cupboards.
Raby is a castle of 2 families. A northern powerhouse under the Neville family until the 16th century, when it passed into the ownership of the crown. And then, in 1626, Sir Henry Vane bought it from King Charles I. And it's remained in the Vane family to this day. At the historic heart of Raby is a room which played a pivotal role in the castle's history, and where each generation has made their mark.
Oh my goodness. So this is obviously a hall. What's the name of this hall?
this is the Baron's Hall.
Okay, Baron's Hall. And is it directly above the entrance hall where we just were?
Absolutely. Originally it was called the High Hall, actually, but it's been called the Baron's Hall for a long time now.
Okay. And this was built roughly the same time as what's below?
14th century, yeah, possibly slightly later in the 14th century than what happened before. And when we had a look at the entrance hall below, where they had to raise the roof,
yes,
which meant they had to raise the floor here. So actually it was 10 foot lower originally than it is now. So it's still a very big space.
Exactly. I mean, look at the ceiling above and how vast it is, and just to think that it was 10 feet lower before. So going back to, I guess, when this was built, 14th century, they would then come into this hall after they arrived down below, come into this hall, and this is where also lots of things happened, presumably. Entertainment.
Dining.
That
would have happened here, yeah.
Okay.
You had the Minstrels Gallery at the other end, so there would have been dining and entertainment and parties and gatherings, and you know, this place could take quite a few people, so
right.
you needed somewhere to gather.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, it was transformed into what we see today, and that was the 18th century. And the same thing happened in this hall as well. A transformation happened, obviously, because he had to raise the floor here.
So that happened in the 18th century, but then there were also a lot of changes in the 19th century here, in the 1840s. Obviously, it's basically the medieval structure, but there were a lot of changes. There was a different kind of roof, the hammer beam roof, and that was all renewed in the middle of the 19th century.
Okay.
And there was also an extension. You'd have thought it might have been big enough already, but they put an extension on that end of the hall as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. So now we're kind of in 19th century when we come up here a little bit more. I mean, obviously medieval roots, but 19th century. But I'm looking around and ancestors?
Yeah,
Just a few.
this is the room with sort of family portraits in,
Yeah.
mainly.
No
Yeah.
pressure in here at all to get it right.
Have you both had your portraits done? Yeah.
We have.
Okay.
Mine is in this room, but Kate's is elsewhere.
Okay.
But both by the same artist. so-
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely will want to look at that. But I'm also looking at sort of the objects that are around. And tell me a little bit more, maybe some of your favorites.
You know, everybody loves coming and seeing the mice and birds.
Yes.
So there's 5 birds across the place, and their scale, it's so difficult to see them because, again, this is a massive room and they are massive birds. And they were 1720, porcelain had only just arrived in Europe, and working with porcelain was terribly difficult. So those are fantastic. I happen to love this marriage chest. It's just wild with its. There's a carriage being drawn by ostriches. There's 2 people here dancing their socks off.
And which Neville, or was this from Neville? No.
This will be a vein.
I mean, do you find, because it's so vast and there's so many objects and so much history here, I mean, 1,000 years of history,
Yes.
you can't possibly take it all on board. You must be constantly uncovering,
We're
finding.
uncovering things the entire time, and actually, it's not just it's other people. You know, we've got, whether it's the curator or whether it's the archivist. I mean, there are so many things to uncover, and it's been the most exciting journey so
Yes.
far. Now, if I've got this wrong, there's going to be a very loud noise and a lot of clattering, but there's your sword drawer. So that's where you'd keep your sword in here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm afraid there's just rubbish in it.
Yeah,
It
no,
probably
no.
goes on the full length.
That's very important.
Yes, but
Very important.
But who knows
That
what
was,
they're for.
So this table was made to keep swords in.
Yeah. Well, that one. I don't think any of the others
Incredible.
go quite so far.
Incredible. Yeah, this marriage chest is just.
I think it's absolutely wild. And those 2 dancing away, they're really rocking
Yeah,
things.
and it's exquisite, that craftsmanship,
Yeah.
which I think is a lost craftsmanship. We don't see. That's why we value these pieces so much, because
Yeah.
the skill that went into them.
There's a few people still.
Yeah.
Well, obviously not tortoiseshell because that's illegal now. But
Yes.
you know, there's still people working with marquetry
Yes.
who are still doing a fantastic
Yeah.
job. But it's hard, and it's difficult to make the money out of it as
Yeah,
well.
no.
You know, you've got to make a living.
Yes, no, of course.
And you know, labour costs a lot.
Yep.
So we
So-
can wander down.
I want to know a little bit more about that period, kind of the intermission that happened between the Nevilles and the Vanes, because that was quite important, wasn't it? Where the crown had taken it over, the church was trying to get Raby, but something big happened. Is it the rising of the North?
Rising of the North. So that's when the Nevilles lost the castle and this Raby estate. We've got a picture actually of Charles Neville over there, the 6th Earl of Westmoreland, who was the last sort of Neville at Raby.
Okay, and he was trying to defend Raby, or no?
No, he was rising up against Elizabeth.
Okay.
So he decided that he wanted Mary Queen of Scots on the throne, and he was Catholic, and he was determined that that's what he was going to do, and so gathered the knights together here. And the story goes there were 600 knights in this.
700.
Okay, 700 knights.
700 knights
in this room for 3 days. I mean, the mess they must have caused. And at the end of it, I think they probably decided that maybe they all felt rather ill and had feasted too much. But the lady of the house said, no, come on, get on your horses. You go and rise up against Elizabeth. I want my friend Mary, Queen of Scots, on the throne. And off they went, and they failed. And a lot of heads on spikes.
And was so he was Catholic then? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
So he's Catholic. He's saying, no,
Yep.
I do not want Queen Elizabeth I on the throne.
Yep.
I want Mary, Queen of Scots.
Yep.
I'm going to fight for it.
Yep.
We're going to uprise.
Yep.
And they failed, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
was he...
He fled. He fled the country.
He fled. So no execution for him.
No,
he
but
got away.
But he lost everything.
But he lost, including the castle.
Including Raby, yeah. And then there was others that ended up on spikes, and others that managed to keep their lands.
Right.
I mean, William Wordsworth, the poet,
Yes.
just wrote about the rising of the North, and I've just got a little bit of it here.
Is that the Duchess's Handbook?
It is, which was this wonderful book done by the Duchess of Cleveland in 1870, which is our kind of Bible on everything at Raby, because she was she wrote brilliantly, and
Fantastic.
it's in a very kind of modern style as well. But going back to Wordsworth, he wrote, Neville sees his followers gathering in from Tees, from Wear and all the little rills, concealed among the forked hills, 700 knights, retainers all of Neville, at their master's call, had sat together in Raby's hall.
So you can then you can really start to see in your mind's eye 700 men,
a
lot of people here.
Yeah.
We've
ready
always
to go
wondered
fight.
quite how they fitted in, but
Must have been very small. Very small.
Yeah, little,
Yeah.
very, very little. Right, so then fast forward, of course, then after Neville flees, then you've got Charles I, who's always broke. He says, I'm going to take it, bring it back into the crown. And then your ancestor says, okay,
there were Henry Vane, so they all almost all of them seem to be called Henry. So
right.
so
to this day.
To this day, I was about to say.
Sir Henry Vane the Elder was the one that purchased Raby. Then there was his son, Sir Henry Vane the Younger, which with his portrait downstairs of him, and there's a lot of history there. Then the line carried on really, through more and more Henrys.
Yes, including today, as you said.
And then it went through, so it was Sir Henry Vane, then it became Baron Barnard, and then it became the Earls of Darlington, and then it became the Dukes of Cleveland.
Right.
And then the male line died out and it went back up to Baron Barnard.
So it went back up, okay.
Yeah, and so there were 4 dukes, the first, and then 3 brothers were the second, third and fourth.
Okay.
And whether it be war or just bad breeding.
Right. The dukedom came from which monarch?
The first Duke of Cleveland was in the 19th century, became a duke. So quite late in a way.
Yes.
But they were Earls of Darlington before that, and they were Lord Barnards before that. So it was really, he was made a duke really for his political services to the Great Reform Bill, which was in 1832, where they extended the vote from a very small group to much wider.
Right.
And he was very much instrumental in doing that, and he was given a dukedom for his services in that regard.
Right. Last question as we exit. Do you hold parties in here yourself? Do you use this occasionally?
We have done.
Okay.
We have done. We have had one dinner in here which was absolutely incredible to use it and brought the castle to life, where we had just over 300 people sitting down in here, and the fact that we could do it was just absolutely extraordinary, and the noise and the sounds were just, the whole castle just sort of reverberated. I almost left another table empty for any of the relations that might have been around to sit down as well.
See, and that's what's so wonderful, that, you know, as custodians of these castles, manors, and stately homes, we're still able to use them because that's what people want. Yes, we're preserving it for future generations, but we're also using it as well to create memories.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And they need to be used. They don't want to be museums.
No,
I think it would be very sad.
Exactly. All right. Well, I'd love to explore more of the medieval part of the castle.
Yeah. Well, let's go and have a look in the kitchen then.
So Julie, here's the medieval kitchen.
This is a huge kitchen. I mean, everything here at Raby is so vast, but to even still have the medieval kitchen sort of functioning as far as people can come and view it, but set out to as it would have been, is that what we think, that this would have been what it somewhat looked like?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't actually changed much. The fabric, obviously, ovens and things have moved on slightly. But, you know, apart from the windows would have just been arrow slits originally.
Right.
But otherwise, it's pretty much as is. There was originally 4 fires around, which have now, you know, been filled in or been used for other things. So there'd have been an awful lot of smoke, a lot of steam.
Right.
And of course, it could all go up there.
Because where am I right now in the castle? Because that, again, is an absolutely enormous vaulted ceiling.
You're in the kitchen tower. There's no other. It's because the house is made of so many different towers. This is a standalone tower, so it can go up in smoke without affecting the rest of the castle.
Right. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I've noticed that there's steps. Well, is it like a fire escape? There was a fire.
The steps themselves are really, I think, to let a bit more light in. But actually what's really interesting is there's a passage. If you go, there's some steps up to the first layer, and it goes all the way around, and then it carries on. Nowadays, it doesn't carry on, but it would have carried on.
Right.
And you know, the thought is that it was used by guards and so on, but also as access to other parts of the castle. Also, there's a little alcove up these steps where the cook could take a break. It was a kind of cook's room with a nice fire and an armchair. And,
really?
Yeah. So
Hierarchy. She needs to have somewhere comfortable.
Absolutely. So incredible that this was also, again, being used to make sure it was being defended, if you like, with the guards around, but then for a practical purpose, cooking for the 700 men who arrived for the rising of the north.
That would have been a tough job. Yes, that'll have been quite a lot of deer, I'd have thought.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when was the last time this kitchen was properly in use?
it was really used until 1954, so really quite
recent,
quite
really.
recent, really. I do think almost everything that was produced in the kitchen must have been stone cold by the time it got to the dining room.
Yes.
But,
Mild, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this interests me.
Here's some recipe books, that some of the old ones. So you've got Mrs. Raby's recipe here for fruits and syrup. So a pound of fruit of any type. And that's,
yeah.
so that's
I can actually read this, which is fantastic.
I know, that's lovely,
but I see
isn't it?
something, I love this. First, line the jar over with a bladder.
Yeah, no, not pretty,
yeah,
really, is it? But you've got to have something to...
You've got to have something.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I suppose pre-muslin days.
I mean, the handwriting is exquisite. Do we know what century, roughly?
This one is 18th century, running into 19th century.
Okay.
And if you look, I mean, you know... when you look at a recipe like that, you know it's been used a lot, don't you? Because the splashing of stuff on it. I mean, lemon pudding, and how beautifully written is that?
Look, and lilac dye.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, it's just fabulous.
And this one they didn't like.
Oh, yeah. Just don't do that again.
To make nectar X.
Either she enjoyed making it, or somebody in the house didn't like to eat it.
And do we think it was the lady of the house at the time that was sort of writing these and then handing them?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think this was definitely a family member.
Because you can also tell by the penmanship.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Look at Lord Darlington's housekeeper's Receipt.
The sponge.
And I love it that they've used the word receipt rather than recipe.
Yeah. My grandmother used to use the word receipt. She'd always talk about receipts. I always thought she'd spelt it wrong.
Right, no, isn't it? But Mrs. Raby's receipt for lemonade.
Yeah.
We could literally spend all day here. And this is just another one. You must have...
Yes, this is another one. And so our index...
Look at receipts, there's the index. Oh, it's so
This didn't
beautiful.
get finished though. There's quite a lot of empty pages in there, so not much.
You could fill it up.
I could.
You could. There you go.
Can you imagine the writing there?
Oh yeah, there's lots of pages for you.
Oh yes.
You can start. What's your favorite recipe? Come on, you've got to have one.
Well, my family all say one pot chicken.
That's going to go in there.
It should go in.
It's going to go in there.
Yeah.
One pot chicken is going in there. Next time I come back.
Yeah, one pot chicken, and it'll take me 3 days to write it like that. Yes.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, these are beautiful. I mean, I love archives is my real passion.
They're beautiful. And then this is something a little bit more modern, but so practical that I love it. So if you imagine you've got your big lasagna in your hand or your, shepherd's pie.
Yes.
And then you just do that and it opens. You don't have to, you're not fiddling around with hands and things. So anyway,
That's
I love
genius.
That. Absolutely fantastic.
Why do we not have a sort of a foot pedal there?
I don't know.
That is genius, because you're right.
Please, anybody who wants to design one, I'd like to see another one of those.
Okay, all right. I have a feeling when I come back, we're going to have this whole new design kitchen.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right.
This is very special
to
see this and just to learn so much more about the history, this medieval kitchen and how it has evolved and used until the 1950s. All right, where off to next?
Right, we'll keep going this way.
Okay, great.
This is the servants' hall.
Would have been a lot of servants.
Would have been a lot of servants.
Big castle.
Yeah.
Originally, it would have actually been the guard room before, so it's a little bit below ground. These were exterior windows, would have just been arrow slits then. And it would have had guards. It would have also had horses in at times.
My goodness.
But then it became, the servants' room where they'd have their meals. Actually, really, the main meal was at kind of midday. They didn't have a breakfast here. And how it worked was that the housekeeper, the butler, and the lady's maid would have their first course in silence and then leave and finish the meal in the housekeeper's room, whereas the rest of the servants would stay in here.
So there was kind of a hierarchy.
It was quite hierarchical, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Really interesting. And then, of course, we must remember, I assume, that when Raby is entertaining and having, all those people to feast in Baron's Hall, you then had those guests would bring their own staff, servants as well. So you have them down here as well, presumably?
Yes, and depending on their hierarchy, they may go to the housekeeper's sitting room to finish off their meal and as well. So they would definitely meet sort of on their level.
Right. So there was, that's the one thing I always must, I guess, remind myself that this was a real community here and an opportunity for the staff to then meet other staff, servants, however you want to classify them back then, but meet them and then at least they'd have some type of camaraderie.
This place needs to be a community. The whole, having a building this size and the spin-off from this building, community is about the most important thing you can do. There's no point rattling around it on your own. Apart from anything else, the responsibility is far too great. So lots of people is really important.
Of course.
I think they'd have had a lot of fun here as well, there'd have always been a roaring fire needed, it has to be said. It's not the warmest of warm rooms.
No. The other rooms I was all right with. This one I'm a bit...
and a lot of jollity, I think, later on, probably after the housekeeper had left. But
I'm going to show you this piece of furniture as well, behind Harry. This I love. So it's on wheels.
Yes.
And you imagine the family would eat at a certain time of day, and so the staff would then be eating, here and there and at different times. So this has, it's got no back to it. And it is absolutely built to pull in front of the fire, so all the food would be kept in there and kept warm. And there's something so simple about it. So this is your original warming cupboard.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is your original warming cupboard. How clever
Yeah.
of them. I love that piece.
Yeah. But keeping food warm in a place like this must have been almost impossible.
No, exactly. So whoever decided to invent that, kudos to them.
They did well. But the scale of it, the number of people, I mean, that is a lot of people working their way
It's a lot of people. And this, I just love. Food goes on here.
Yeah. Yes.
Pass it up and down.
Pass me the salt.
Yep.
Pass the gravy. Pass everything. Shoom.
I bet they had a lot of fun with that.
I think a lot of people have seen how fast it can go. Surprised it doesn't go past the striped pan side.
It's fantastic. Wow, yeah. I mean, even standing from here and just looking beyond, you can really start to imagine, piles of people in here and having a great time.
Yeah, and the noise level must have been enormous. But you can see them all sitting there, and the hierarchy of, when you're allowed a little bit further up, and I imagine a slight amount of flirting and then being told to behave by Cookie or whoever it happened to be. And you can see it. There's something, the patina on all the furniture, you can see where every bottom has rubbed away the paint. And, it is quite easy just to paint over it, but, just keeping it there and making sure that it survives to tell its story.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that is what patina is there for, in order for us to tell the story of, there we go, it's been worn by somebody sitting there, year after year after year. But wow, if these walls could talk. I know that's such a cliche statement, but it's so true. The amount of sort of gossip and, who's interested in who and who's having an affair with who.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You imagine if you live in a village that every day you all got together for a chat. I mean, that's what happened here.
And,
so fun.
When anyone was staying, all their servants would come with them, so they'd be catching up on the news and all sorts.
Exactly.
Did you hear what's happening in such and such a house? You can imagine it, can't you?
You can. It's just brilliant.
Oh,
Thank you,
lady so-and-so.
I know.
Did you see what she was wearing last night?
Better than Bridgerton.
Oh,
there we go. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
This servants' hall is better than Bridgerton.
Raby Castle was the childhood home of Cecily Neville, known as the Rose of Raby. Her rooms are accessible up the steepest of staircases.
Well, that was fun, heading up. This is what I love about castles. I mean, they just go on and on and on, and all the little secret compartments everywhere. There's a staircase there, and then a narrow one there. It's incredible.
Well, I mean, you just have to look at this fireplace here to wonder what were they thinking, because it's sort of on the edge of a wall and it doesn't make any sense. But anyway,
it's a bit of a maze, I have to say. But this room has always been associated with Cecily, who was the Rose of Raby. Her father was Rafe Neville, and she was one of 21 children.
Wow.
And the youngest. She was born here and married Richard, Duke of York, who has also spent some time at Raby, oddly enough, because he was a cousin. And she had two kings as amongst her children. That was Richard III and Edward IV.
Two kings.
A pretty significant figure.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And quite a battle between those siblings, really, as time went on.
That's exactly right.
And Duke of Clarence, and and a French queen.
So Cecily, very important then, mother of two kings. And was she born here?
Yes, she was born here, absolutely. And it is thought traditionally these were her apartments here.
And then she was born here, so she was kind of raised here, yes? Grew up here?
She was the youngest of 21 here, so there must have been quite a team going on. But I think by the time she was born, her father would have been quite a lot older and maybe had a bit more time to spend time riding with her and riding to the parks, and so she would have had probably much more attention than the older ones.
Yeah, it's always the youngest that seems to get the most attention. But wow, she had quite a climb up to, if these were her suites, let's say they were, she had quite a climb going up and down those
Well,
Well, I
stairs.
think
It's
you did-
fantastic.
wherever you were in the castle,
Yeah.
you had to climb.
Yeah.
So
But her husband to be was also brought up here, the Duke of, not for the last few years before they married, and I think part of the reason that she was brought up here was probably to keep them apart. Although they married young, I mean very
Right.
young,
Yes.
I think there would have been a certain amount of modesty in keeping her.
No, of course, because of, we have to remember that, when you married sort of in that period, 14th, 15th, 16th century, you were, in your teens.
Yeah, early teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And do we know if Richard III and Edward IV ever came to Raby?
there's a good chance
Yeah.
Richard III would have been, because before he became king, he was very much in the north of England, and
Okay.
very much like the governor of the north, really.
Right.
So, and his main castle was another Neville castle at Middleham, which is actually only about 25 miles south of here.
Okay.
So I'd be very surprised if he didn't. And he also, the local town, Barnard Castle, where there is another Neville castle, he was in charge of that, Richard. So I'm sure he would have come to Raby.
For certain. So, but where am I standing right now? Like, what is this?
It's the keep.
This is
So
the
you-
keep.
Yeah, so this is going back a long way. So this is one of the earlier bits, and you can hear the clock tugging away in the background. So that's ticking away.
So there's a clock in the keep.
Yeah.
And today, I mean, there's still bits in here. It's quite fun, but it's obviously been used throughout the centuries.
Well, more recently, and by recently, I'm talking actually about 100 years ago on to about 50 years ago, it was used by the local scout group as a meeting point. I can't say there can't be too many 14th century kind of scout huts, if you like.
Yes.
But there's evidence of it with bits and pieces all around. There's some writing on the wall.
I
so
love
on.
this.
So,
We should all live by those rules.
I know. Look at the scout law. You've got to be loyal, trusted, useful, a friend to all, courteous, kind to animals.
Important, yeah.
Smiles and whistles. A scout smiles and whistles. It's thrifty. A scout is thrifty. Clean in thought, word, and deed. Yeah, I think that those need to be somehow possibly reinstated.
Yes, I think that's right.
And now I'm hearing that clock, and of course, when you said that there was the clock over there, I just thought, oh, there's just a sort of a wind-up clock, but no, it is the clock of
yes.
Raby.
Yeah,
You
you'll
can see
see
it.
it outside, and you can see it coming down.
Fantastic.
So in here, you see. You open this
Yes.
up. Well, you can see it. It goes all the way down.
Yes, okay. Oh,
Yeah, you can see a
fantastic.
pendulum in there,
Yeah.
and then the weights
So,
go full way down.
yep, all the way down. This is incredible. So this is really a part of the fabric of the building.
Yeah.
You can see it from the exterior.
And you can hear it from miles away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the upkeep of even something like this is, quite, it's another thing that you as custodians have to think about.
Yeah, we got a grant recently to restore the sundial and the clock. Outside, you'll see they're now shiny and new, and no paint peeling. But that's gilding, and it's not as if you can just get your poster paints out and give it a quick colour. It's getting it right, and also you have to do it with the planners as well to to change choose the colours and make sure that everything's correct.
Yeah, no, because it's a process. It's a real process here, and you have to go through all of the permissions and making sure you're doing it right way because it's listed.
And then you've got to
listed.
get there.
Yeah,
which is
scaffolding.
Yes.
And so wow, that is amazing to know that this was just recently. Was it restored then in one sense?
No, it was. It's working fine.
Was it?
It was just the clock face,
Yeah.
Right.
and the sundial face, which is next to it.
Right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, well done, and I'm so glad I was able to see this.
Yeah.
Let's.
Watch your step.
Okay. Okay, wow.
Thank you. And there's your clock.
That was Cecily's, possibly, her
Yes.
suite of rooms that she used. And then there's the clock. Okay, see, I have to get my bearings
Yep.
here because it's so vast. This is brilliant.
So
Tell me.
you can see the towers. You can start getting a feel of where the towers are. And also you'll see quite clearly how you've got a suite of rooms on one level.
Yes.
Because you'll look at the windows and then you'll realise that the next tower along, they don't necessarily run together. So you're always up and down stairs.
Yeah, and how many towers are there?
There are 9 towers, and they're all different. There's nothing the same. Everything is organic, the way that it developed.
Is it because they just kept building on and they just decided
Well-
symmetry, no, we're not going to bother with it?
Yes. Well, for instance, there's the kitchen tower. You can see that's the top of the kitchen.
Yes. Right, so now I'm getting my bearings. That's the kitchen tower.
Yes.
I mean, I guess when you come to, something that's such a fortress and it was, purpose built originally to defend, of course you need to have this height.
Yeah.
So you can see the lay of the land.
Well, you can see on a sunny day, you can see a long way up the dale, and you can see up to Home Farm, which is also fortified, and then beyond Home Farm, if you stand on the roof, you can see another peel tower further up. So you
Right.
could say the marauding Scots are coming for quite a long way.
I know, but today I think it's quite moody.
Yes.
You have
Oh,
this
yes.
very soft cloud and a sweet scent in the air.
Raby will let you know if it wants to be seen or not.
All right, which way? Left? I might have you lead the
I'll
way.
lead on.
Wow.
We come through here.
And you have your flag flying?
We have the flag flying. Yes, I think we might need to put a new one up. It takes some battering, that flag.
I mean, we are up north.
Yes.
This is vast. So tell me a little bit about the roof, because I know that, historic houses, roofs, wow, they usually require a lot of maintenance. But this looks pretty good intact.
Well, that's what we thought, but some of it is, some of it isn't. My father renewed a very large area of roof, all lead, obviously, but some of them is just beginning to show its age, and perhaps some of it wasn't done as well as it might have been.
Right.
Techniques have moved on now, so we are going to have to look at some of it again, but it's not like we've got massive buckets with dripping water coming
Okay.
through.
There's a balance to be had between, of course, the thickness of the lead and its weight
Yes.
on the building, and then the thinness of the lead and then it wearing through. So you have to sort of
Yes.
create that balance. And there are not many people working with lead anymore. It's such a specialised job. And a lead roof, when it's done well, looks so beautiful.
It is so beautiful. And of course, the lead roof in particular on listed buildings has to stay as a lead roof.
Yes.
It's not like you can just swap
No.
this out for
No.
slate.
No.
It's
No.
got to be like for like.
Well, it's got, if it was slate, there's nowhere for it to fall.
Well, that is true.
There is actually a route, I've never done it, but I've seen the children do it, and I know you've done it, of across the whole of the roofs, up and down these ladders over. And I think once you started, you can't turn around and come back again. You have to keep on going
Right.
all the way around.
So there's access to all 9 towers.
Yes,
Yeah, there must be.
There are ladders up every single one.
And is it lead on top of the 9
Yes.
towers as well?
Yeah.
Right.
So there's the other side of the clock with the sundial next to it.
Sundial, fantastic.
Of course, the clock's on top of a window.
So again, for defense purposes, this would have been a perfect spot.
Yeah,
And you can see all around. You can see the invaders, the marauders,
the marauding Scots.
exactly, coming towards you. There we are.
Yeah,
Wow.
looking down the ponds.
Oh, that is brilliant.
It really is
Look
quite
at-
moody
yeah.
today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really moody. I mean, I think I almost prefer it like this because it gives you a real sense of, kind of what it
Yeah.
would have been.
Yeah.
What it would have been. Anyway, what a treat. This was brilliant just to see. It's always nice to come out on top of the roofs because it gives you also the scale of it, and you could see almost from up above.
Yeah. No, it is acres and acres of roof.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly right. Acres and acres of roof.
Raby Castle may look every inch the formidable 14th century fortress from the outside, but the interiors tell a different story. From the 18th century, the Vane family reimagined Raby as an elegant country house.
Wow. Stunning ceiling. And what room are we in then in the castle?
This is called the small drawing room. It's 18th century and Regency. Ceiling and architectural features are mainly 18th century, and then there's some early Regency, early 19th century here as well. With all these rooms, it's no longer a defensive castle. It was when the Vanes turned it into a country house, if you like.
Yes.
And so these rooms are much more sort of livable, open, a lot more light, and they're all along the south front, so they catch all the, obviously, the sunlight and everything. But this room's mainly about the first Duke of Cleveland's interest in horses, both racehorses and indeed fox hunting as well.
Okay.
So if you look around...
Yes, they adorn, horses adorn the walls. Beautiful pictures here. I mean, I can see Raby in the background in quite a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know where to start, but just pointing out a couple. We've got the Earl of Darlington there with his foxhounds, and behind the kennels, the Gothic kennels that he built in the Raby Park, which unfortunately no longer exist. And if we move on, that's by Herring, and it's of actually the Raby stables with a pony that was owned by the second Duchess of Cleveland.
So the stables, are they still here?
Yes, those are all part of the Rising.
Oh, right, so they're part of the project, so you've converted those stables.
Yes, we're going to
find out more about it later.
Fantastic.
Into the library.
And like a lot of libraries in country houses, there's hardly a book in it.
It's quite funny that,
Yeah.
Weird, isn't
because
it?
Is it because we've sort of evolved the room ourselves, that it used to be a library, but we've now moved the books to maybe someplace else that might be a little bit safer or doesn't get the light?
Less light, I should think.
I mean, all these rooms have had a lot of different uses over the years, and this actually was a dining room in the 18th century. It was also, previously, it was more than one room. You can see there's a fireplace there, fireplace there. So it would have been two rooms. And
is this where we think would have been a larger room further afield, and then here? Okay.
And it was turned back into one. You know, I love the panelling and everything here, actually. I think
it's so chic.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's really chic, it's really gentle, and it's probably one of my favourite rooms in the castle. Everything about this says, come in, light the fire, have a drink, here's the newspaper. It's just wonderful.
Play something on the piano.
Yeah.
If only I knew how to really play, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I could go.
I'm not sure how well tuned that is.
Yeah,
either.
but this is a used room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't you come and sit in
Right.
here?
I mean, to me, this is perfection.
Yeah.
It just feels very welcoming.
Yeah, it's it's gentle.
So you forget you're in this, 14th century castle. When you come in here, it feels very homely.
Yeah, good reason to sit down and play a board game or whatever you want to do in front of a fire.
Absolutely stunning. I've also noticed you have family photos around, which I think for visitors as well to come through, you can see that it hasn't just stopped working. It hasn't just stopped. The history hasn't just stopped. All of a sudden, I can see your family there. And wonderful to adorn the castle with these photos because it's very welcoming. And then when visitors come in, they know that, wow, there's a family here.
Yes.
Who's carrying on.
Yep, it is a family home, and I think it's so important that everybody realises that it's still evolving. It's still got its next life coming forward.
Yeah,
we're always working on that.
Oh my goodness. This is just screaming gilt, gold, bling. Everything's been thrown in here.
It's definitely sort of Buckingham Palace meets Walt Disney, isn't it? It's so over the top meets Barbie. It's so unlike the rest of the castle.
That's
which is so
surprising.
subdued. Yeah.
Because I've just come from sort of very cozy, intimate rooms, and then you come into this, and it's like, welcome to the castle.
Yeah, well, it's just you need to serve macaroons in here. I mean, it's the most extraordinary room.
You know, of its type, it's a wonderful example. It's 1840s, really, you know, everything in here is of that date, and they haven't held back, put it that way.
No, they haven't. I mean, I like it. I mean, because of course the American in me likes anything that's bling and big and, you know, sort of shouts, I want attention. So
yes, this gets your attention.
So this was redecorated in 1840.
Yes, it was completely rebuilt actually.
Oh, right.
There was a round tower here, which was removed by William Byrne, who was a Victorian architect, replaced with this octagonal drawing room, and then obviously all the interior and architectural features were put in.
Wow.
You know, after dinner the ladies would come in here, joined by the men as well. So that was the sort of use it had.
Right.
It got quite damaged, the curtains and the wonderful silk on the walls, just by light over time. So my father did a big sort of restoration program and redid the curtains and various silk panels absolutely in the way that they were before.
Okay.
So it's like pristine.
Yes.
So
well, that's wonderful though, that again, your father didn't come in and try to recreate something. He said, right, I'm going to try to get this as close to possible as the original was.
Well, I think
and that's difficult with silk paneling.
Yeah. But I think with this room, if you'd wanted to change it into something else, it's not going to work. It is what it is.
Well, he had all the silk remade. I mean, he had it all. He had this exactly the same silk. He found the right place in France to have it rewoven. So it's exactly as it was before.
Incredible.
But the ceiling, you know, I look at that and think, my goodness, the gilding. How much time must have been spent on that?
Yes.
But in fact, he was able just to wash that down.
Okay.
And the gilding came up. So that's the original gilding.
Fantastic. And tell me about the chandelier, because it's a beauty. It's a masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece. It has a pair next door.
So there's two of them. There's one in here.
There's one in here and one in the dining room.
The gilding is exceptional. I mean, it is screaming bling, which I do love, because it's different from any room I've seen so far in the castle.
Yeah, I mean, everything about Raby has no bling to it. It's all very simple, all very practical.
Yes.
And yet we have this room that is just so brightly coloured and so over the top.
And I can see a coat of arms there, is that right?
Yeah, so you've got the Dukes of Cleveland's coat of arms and then DC in gilding all the way around.
All the way around?
Yeah. No, it's really fantastic. Thank goodness I haven't had to restore it, because I'm not sure I would have got quite so excited about it. But it would have been the height of good taste at the time. I mean, it would have been so smart to have done this.
Of course, and a room that they would have wanted to show off.
Yeah.
Come and see what we've just done.
Yeah, we're modern, we're up to date, we're happening people.
Yes, exactly. So I have to ask, do you still use this room every now and again?
Once in a blue moon, yes. It's
Okay.
a party room. It's somewhere to come and have drinks. But we don't really advise people to sit on the chairs, because they really can't take any weight at all.
But it must be such a talking piece when you're having drinks in here. Everybody will want to know, about the coat of arms, the Dukes of Cleveland.
Yeah, well, usually people come in and are quite quiet, actually. They come in and go, oh.
Right.
Because it's just so unexpected. But yes, so then once you've got over the original, wow, you're making a statement here, there's usually good conversation about the place, or where we're going next, or do you have anything else like this?
Right.
No, definitely not.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the brother in the dining room. Is that as bling or no?
Oh yeah, not as bling. No, not as bling, much more masculine.
Okay. Right, so this is the brother.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, they both take a fair bit of cleaning.
God, I can only imagine.
They're quite a size, aren't they?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this is a spectacular dining room. Do you both use it?
Yeah, we do. We do sometimes use it.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of using because of getting food backwards and forwards, but yes.
Yes,
Don't expect anything hot in here.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely beautiful. So tell me just a little bit about the room itself. It's vast and fantastic.
Well, it's clearly a 19th century room now, but it was the 18th century Chinese room, it was called, and it was oval shape, and it was full of Chinese porcelain and objects, but then it was transformed into this quite masculine dining room.
Yes.
When a place is lived in, it's constantly evolving and changing.
Yeah.
And that's what has happened at Raby. So here we have the chapel, family chapel.
It's wonderful.
So the stained glass is from a mixture of sources, if you like, but I think the most interesting, if you look at those two sort of roundels up there on the left, you've got the three magi, and on the right there's St. Benedict in his cave. And they're actually from the Abbey of Saint-Denis in Paris,
Yes.
and date back to the 12th century.
Incredible. But it's extraordinary to think that these are 12th century and the color is so vibrant still. What was it, almost 1,000 years later?
Yeah, I mean, I think the colour's incredible, and you know they're in such good condition, which is fortunate because during the French Revolution there was a huge amount of vandalism and so on at Saint-Denis, and obviously a certain amount of that stained glass was saved, and some of it came to the UK.
Right.
And these pieces ended up here.
Yes.
I think probably were actually purchased or whatever in the 19th century by one of my ancestors.
Right. Extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. Now, tell me just a little bit about the stenciling that's on the walls here, because it's beautiful. And again, the color is, you've got a lot of gold mixed in with this very warm red.
Yeah, I mean, I love this decoration, I must say. I think it sort of fits so well with the original medieval chapel. It is, of course, much later, so this was actually totally redecorated in 1908.
But they obviously were sympathetic to the room when they decided to...
Absolutely.
And this has just caught my eye because this is original, part of the medieval castle here, but the floor has been raised quite significantly.
That was, we spoke about in the entrance hall,
yes,
how the floor was raised in the 18th century to allow those carriages through, and this chapel sits over the sort of exit, if you like, for the carriages.
Yes, I remember.
So that also had to be raised.
So you have 14th century meets 18th century, and you can absolutely see the centuries merging together right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is absolutely wonderful to see that. Can I ask, do you use this chapel as a family?
Yes, all our children have been baptised here, and Harry's father's funeral was in here. It's a wonderful place to come and be together. Obviously we need music, and we've got 2 harmoniums, and you open it up like that, but it's not electric or anything. It is a good old-fashioned pump. And you pump.
Okay, you pump.
Okay,
and I'll play.
That is exactly how the whole service went.
Okay. I used to know the piano. What was chopsticks? Oh, yes, please, keep going.
I don't know.
Here we go.
Do you want me to take over?
I'll just, here we go. Okay, should I go?
I don't know what they say on the buttons.
Bassoon.
Oh, yes.
That sounds more church-like.
Oh, that's a good sound.
Wow! So wonderful that still, gets used. And so is somebody there just pumping?
Yes.
During the service, they have to pump. Yeah.
It doesn't make for a particularly relaxed flag service.
Do they just the pumper request?
It's never too hot in here. Nobody gets too sweaty.
Short sheets of music, please.
Yes.
Yeah. One pagers.
Yes. And can you leave the chapel fast? Because there's only a certain length of time you can carry on playing.
Exactly. Wonderful that it still get used. But I'm interested in the standards here down the pews because they're different.
Yeah. So you've got the family standards carrying flags.
Right.
But first for the very front ones, and then they get a bit plainer, and then the ones at the back carry on being these wonderful carvings as well.
Right.
So I've always been led to believe that it would be the servants in front and the family behind, keeping an eye on the servants so that they weren't misbehaving.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Beyond that, you'd be able to view it from the Baron's Hall. So, because obviously we've had more staff here,
Really?
more servants here than.
So what I'm seeing now, that would have been open, more servants, so that everybody could come pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's original sort of 14th century tracery there, and it's been filled in and painted over, but it would have been open, and you would have been able to hear as well as see from the Baron's Hall.
Right, interesting. So I'm seeing characters here with some quite amazing expressions on their faces. Are they part of the family?
They're mainly Nevilles. I mean, these were done at the same time when the rest of the chapel was redecorated.
Okay.
So they're sort of early 20th century. We've got Cecily Neville at the far end. We've got John Neville, who was responsible for extending the castle, did a lot of building work here.
Okay.
And when the actual fortification bit of it was put up, it's called crenellation.
Yes.
That was, he had to get permission from the king, and that was in 1378. So, but he's a major figure at Raby. And then we've got the Bishop of Durham, Bishop Hatfield, who is a very important Bishop of Durham. We've got Rafe Neville, the father of Cecily Neville, and there's his second wife, Joan Beaufort, there.
Right, that's right, because he was married twice, and between him and his two wives, they had 21 children, with Cecily as the youngest. Is that
That's right?
Okay,
Yes.
Fantastic. So it's kind of, sort of all in the family. You've got, right?
Sort of, yeah, extended family.
Extended family, exactly. Well, wonderful to see this, and fantastic just to see the different centuries throughout this chapel. I mean, you can really view them, and that's what's so fantastic.
Yes, well, it still has a feeling of a family chapel. It's warm, it's welcoming. It's somewhere that, I love to come and sit in here. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning.
Raby Castle is a remarkable tapestry of history, from its powerful medieval origins to the beautiful interiors of the 18th and 19th centuries. To uncover how this magnificent building has evolved, I met with Raby's curator, Julie Biddlecombe Brown.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
I'm Julie.
I'm Julie.
Okay, that's going to be easy to remember.
Nice and easy to remember, absolutely.
Nice and easy.
So I'm the curator here at Raby Castle.
Fantastic. I mean, you have a job that I would only dream of having one day in another lifetime.
It's the best job in County Durham.
Gosh, it must be. And to be the curator here at Raby Castle with so much history. I mean, it was amazing listening to Harry describing the history as sort of like 2 acts with an intermission in between.
Absolutely. And I've actually brought something out to show you that intermission period. So unfortunately, after the Rising of the North, we lost all of the archives from the Neville period. We don't know what happened to them at all. But through other estates, we do have some material that represents that period. So I've brought you the Great Seal of Elizabeth I.
And wow, it's in fine condition.
Which is in fabulous condition because, of course, she seized the castle after the failure of the Rising of the North.
Right.
And then it stayed with the crown until Sir Henry Vane the Elder bought it in 1626.
Okay.
But this is a great seal, and it is in great condition. You just see her so clearly.
Wow.
This is, you can see her. I've seen Elizabeth I seals before in the past and they've been chipped and a little bit damaged. This is in perfect condition. So let me get my dates right. So this has survived over 400 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Unbelievable. And so what is this document here?
So this is a letter of patent of Elizabeth I. This is actually from the estates in Shropshire.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the estate, we're thinking of Raby Castle here, but the estate goes out to Shropshire. It's not just County Durham, it's Shropshire as well.
Historically, Raby had lands right across the country, and over time that has decreased, and now we still have an estate in County Durham and an estate in Shropshire, and this is one of the records from the Shropshire estate.
Oh my goodness. So Elizabeth I comes in after the failure of the Rise of the North, comes in, seizes the entire estate.
Yeah, never actually visits Raby Castle that we're aware of. So this is the nearest that we get.
Okay, fantastic. So she seizes it. She now has the estate, the castle in hand. And then what happens during that intermission period?
So in that intermission, it's leased to a number of different people through the City of London or City of Westminster. So it has a number of different owners until it's bought in 1626 by Sir Henry Vane. And we only have a few glimpses of what the castle really looked like and how it operated in that time. But because we don't have anything from that earlier period, so I've pulled out a couple of drawings which give a slight indication of how it would have been. And it's reflected in some of our artworks as well. So we know that in the past, outside of the castle grounds, there was a village, a medieval village that supported the castle, known as Old Raby Village.
Okay.
And you can just see that on this image here. So there's the castle and there's the village, and that was all got rid of to make way for the stables buildings and the walled gardens. So that's to the north of the castle.
And this is done in pencil.
It's done in pencil.
300 and 400 years ago.
This is slightly later. So this was by Joseph Spence, and he was the man who advised that we should sweep away the medieval village in the 1780s.
Okay.
So that is his...
But still, we're at 250 years.
Yeah.
Right, so he's advising, so he's basically, as you mentioned, nothing really survived during this intermission period and prior.
Just the buildings.
Just the buildings. So you've got basically Sir Henry Vane, the elder, coming in. He's buying the castle and the estate from the crown, from Charles I.
Yes.
Lives in it happily, but then something starts to shift, is that right? In the 18th century?
In the 18th century, there's a sort of a period of decline and then a period of resurgence. So the portraits of the people behind us wanted to take down the castle because they disapproved of their son's marriage and they decided they wanted to destroy his inheritance. So the son took the parents to court.
What?
The son won, and they were ordered to repair the damage from their own purses. And after that, Raby starts to build up again. So all of these archives here are to do with that rebuilding and the next stage of Raby's life.
Okay.
So some of the other things that we've brought out to show you are just to show that change and the development of the castle during the 18th and 19th centuries. So starting to plan the gardens, and these just beautiful plans from when they started to build walled gardens and stables area. But it wasn't just outside that they were making all these changes. The insides, they employed some of the finest craftsmen, Payne, Garrett, other really well-known architects and craftsmen to create this beautiful space.
Interestingly enough, Julie, I love reading just the writing. And you have like 2 hot walls, 2 hot houses, 2 anterooms. Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then it says, and greenhouse, gardener's house, a nursery for pines, melon.
Yeah. Raby is, I mean,
apples.
You're here in County Durham and you know we're quite far north. So if you want to enjoy tropical fruits, you have to help the climate along a little bit, right? So hot walls, there were stoves in the walls to heat them, greenhouses. Right the way from the 18th century, the family were trying to cultivate grapes, melons, peaches, fruit, the kind of fruits that we really love today, but were a real luxury back then. So the gardens at Raby were developed to be able to create the conditions that these fruits would grow and thrive.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. All right, so now we're moving into 18th century.
Yeah, we've come into the building, and this is the long gallery.
Okay.
We now know it as Hunter's Gallery. This is one of the plans that wasn't executed quite as you see here. And we have loads of these, so it's obvious that architects and craftsmen were submitting numerous designs for the approvals of the Earls of Darlington and the Dukes of Cleveland, and then they picked the one that they like. So we have all of these ones that were pitched and then turned down. But this is this long suite of rooms, very grand and elaborate, and then some drawings for the lantern lights above.
Beautiful. And I'm looking here at the scale. This is 40 feet. So, you know, we're looking at 80 foot
so a
long gallery.
Long gallery, yeah, indeed.
So that they could do their exercise. Is that right? So
there's a long way to your bedroom at the far end.
Exactly. Stunning to see that. Absolutely stunning.
And some of the detail in those rooms, we had some beautiful ceilings by a York plaster craftsman, which you can see part of the design here, just a quarter, because you'd be able to replicate that and mirror it out when you were putting it into practice. But just lovely, elegant, light details.
And then you've got the portcullis here.
So we brought this one out because I know Lord Barnard was talking to you about the work that John Carr did in the entrance hall to create this sort of drive-through for carriages. And this is one of the drawings by John Carr, but of the portcullis as you go in. So you can see that his work sort of touches all sorts of different parts of the castle.
Absolutely fantastic. I love it. It says 46 feet high and some real detailed measurements here, 11 feet. Wonderful. It's amazing just to see through these designs in particular how the castle has evolved from this medieval fortress into now a home.
Yeah, a beautiful family home that has welcomed visitors for centuries, from members of the royal family, kings, queens, politicians, friends and family. It's always been a place where people have been welcomed, and that's recorded through our archives as well.
Right.
One of the greatest traditions at Raby is our visitors' books, which were used in the 19th century.
It's fantastic, because then you can, it's almost like, you can see kind of who stayed together at the same time and who were friends with one another.
It's absolutely fascinating, and they are absolutely beautiful, and they tell us so much about the castle. And there's decades worth of work to be done to research these.
Of course.
But in the 19th century particularly, and particularly under the 4th Duke and Duchess of Cleveland, there was a tradition in the visitors' book that you didn't just leave a comment and your name and address. You gave some kind of creative contribution to celebrate your visit. So I can show you a couple of those now.
Oh,
so there we have arriving in the entrance hall.
Wait, and somebody drew that.
They were probably under a lot of pressure to put them to lay down their mark in a way that would be remembered.
It's a watercolor, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a watercolor.
Oh my goodness! Look at the carriage coming through. One there and then one there.
There, and the chair that's still in the entrance hall today, the porter's chair, is down there at the bottom. So as you can see with these visitors' books, people left their name, their date of arrival and departure, and then their remarks.
Amazing. I see Spencer Churchill already. I'm just going to, we've got a Blandford there, which would also be a Spencer Churchill.
The Manors.
The Manors, which is Rutland.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you look at when people were visiting, you see the groups of people that came together, and you can start to get a feel for the amazing times that they had. And the visitors' books also have these little cartoons and drawings that they left. We've used this one in some of our interpretation, which you'll see in other parts of the castle and our development.
Gosh, so what year are we here, do we think?
So we will be here with
1900.
1900. So this book transitions from the late 19th century into the early 20th.
So which kings and queens visited Raby?
Well, various have over the years. We know James I did, Charles I on their progress up to Scotland. You might spot another one here on this page.
I do indeed. His Majesty King Edward.
It's in 1905.
Oh my gosh. His Majesty King Edward honoured us with a visit by motor from Broughton Hall for luncheon with Lord and Lady Broughton. The weather was very fine, and His Majesty expressed his great pleasure in seeing Raby. His Majesty
reached Raby.
Yeah, in time for 1:30 lunch and returned to Broughton in time for 5:30 tea. Wow.
And if you turn the page, I think there's a little more on that story.
Oh my God. It also says the king made a tour of the castle and staterooms. Wow. And also consented to a tree being planted in honor of his visit.
Fantastic.
This is brilliant.
So
there he is.
Fantastic.
King Edward VII. And then there's a telegram. The king thanks you and Lady Barnard very much for your good wishes. Wow.
Amazing. So these books are such a
They're
treasure
golden.
trove. Yeah.
These are golden books. Did most families do visitor books like this, do
I
you
think visitor books are quite common, but these are the only ones that I've seen that have so
Yeah.
much information, because they're almost like a journal of what's
Yes.
going on. And the fact that people leave their creative contributions means that they capture something different of their visit through a poem or a drawing. You know, it's different to just saying, I really enjoyed my dinner last night.
Exactly. It's almost like a scrapbook.
Absolutely, and they're really wonderful. And we have volumes of these that you just can trace people through the decades.
Can I come back and just
I
stay
join
here for
you?
a month? Yeah, exactly. We would just have so much fun by one of the many fireplaces here.
Absolutely. And just looking into who all of these individuals were that visited.
Amazing.
It's fabulous.
I could quite happily spend hours in the archives at Raby. The connections and insights that are hidden, even within the visitor books alone, are astonishing. But it's a single document that truly captures the power and thrill of working with archives.
So Julie, I brought you this beautiful pedigree roll out of the archive for you to have a look at, because what it does is trace the line down to William Harry Vane, who became the first Duke of Cleveland here at Raby. So it goes right back, and it's really to legitimise his position, and it traces him right back to William the Conqueror, which is wonderful.
Fantastic. And that's what these powerful families, they did. They wanted to show off who they were connected to, and making sure that they went right back to William the Conqueror and I'm sure other kings.
Absolutely, and we see kings, we see other noble families that they've married into represented on the shields. So you've got Edward II there, going down to Edward III. And you just trace that all the way down just to show why this family is really important.
Yes, exactly. And we have something similar with our family, the Montague line, which is the Earl of Sandwich line. And it's wonderful to see that we also trace back to William the Conqueror. And we have something similar to this pedigree, again, showing off that we are an important family.
Absolutely.
And the wealth, the power, all of that. But interestingly enough, before we started to film this scene, as Julie was rolling out this beautiful pedigree, I spotted something, because whenever I come to historic houses, I want to find out possibly if there's a Montague connection within the family here where I'm filming. And sure enough, there is. So I've printed out a letter that I want to share with you.
Oh, amazing.
And kind of show you that actually the Montague family is related to the Vane family.
And I love this because this is the power of archives and what they can do. They make connections. So I'd love to see this letter.
So if we go further down here, further down, past all the kings who are obviously super important, but towards the bottom, I spotted the 3 lozenges. So these are the Montague lozenges that are related to the Sandwich family.
And of course, the 3 gauntlets are the Vane family here.
Isn't that incredible?
And they're on the same shield.
They're on the same shield. So the 4th Earl of Sandwich in our family is probably the most well known, not only because he was head of the Admiralty, but he was the one who sort of invented the sandwich that we know today. So he asked his butler to put a piece of meat between 2 slices of bread so that his papers wouldn't get greasy.
Now that's interesting, because when I've heard that story, I've always thought it was so that he didn't have to leave the gambling table and could keep snacking while he was gambling. So you'll know much more about your family history.
I'm correcting that myth right here today on camera.
Well, we've all had a sandwich at our desk.
Exactly, exactly. So interestingly enough, what I see here is that he, yes, indeed, did marry Dorothy Fane, and that's the connection to the Vane family.
Amazing.
So if we go all the way back up, I saw on either side you've got the Vane side, and then you've got the Fane side. So if we trace this back up, incredible that, again, it's wonderful for me to see this on this pedigree, and in particular, John Montague, the 4th Earl of Sandwich, kind of the most well-known. But as I sort of went down a little bit more, I noticed the last name Paulet.
Yeah.
And Duke of Bolton, and that really captured me. So when we were rolling this out, I thought, wait a minute, there is an even more connection. Now hear me out here. Our family ancestral seat was in Cambridgeshire called Hinchingbrook. Unfortunately, that was sold after the Second World War. However, after the Second World War, we bought another house, and that's down in West Dorset. And that house was bought for really a reason, not only because it's beautiful, but it was adjacent to land, 5,000 acres at that time, that was gifted to Dorothy and John Montagu's son, John, who became the 5th Earl of Sandwich.
So there was already a close connection.
The 5th Earl of Sandwich, their son, married a Paulet.
Now of course,
So
the Duke of Cleveland married a Paulet.
Exactly, and this is where it gets really interesting. So the 5th Earl, their son, marries a Paulet. And then I can see down here, her half-sister, and that is her half-sister, married Henry Vane.
Yeah.
But the 6th Duke of Bolton, their father, didn't have any sons.
Yeah.
So where is this land in West Dorset going to go? Well, there was a fight between these two sisters, Catherine and Mary, the 5th Earl of Sandwich's wife, who was going to get this 5,000 acres in West Dorset. And it took over 100 years for them. So neither of them actually...
They never benefited
They
from
never
that land.
benefited from. So what I brought
That's
from
incredible.
you, but it ended up going to our family.
So because she was the eldest half-sister.
That's right.
From the first marriage.
Exactly. The 6th Duke of Bolton married twice. With his first wife, he had Mary Paulet, who married the 5th Earl of Sandwich. She died. With his second wife, he had...
And it's all here in this document and in your letter.
So what I found is that on that 5,000 acres, which it was at that time, there's a lovely, lovely manor house called Hook Court. And I'm researching my husband's great-grandmother, who is an American heiress who became the 9th Countess of Sandwich, and she writes about this to her mother. This is roughly about 1906. She's at Hook Court. She's in West Dorset. She's at the manor house, and she writes. She says, "Darling, I haven't time for much as Uncle Hinch has dragged me into bridge at 2:30 p.m. because it's raining." So Uncle Hinch is the 8th Earl. And she writes, "Such a beloved place." She's talking about the manor house. "An old manor surrounded by a moat built in the days of King Richard." Describes it as grassy, wild nature. And then it gets juicy. 2 daughters inherited everything from the last Duke of Bolton. One married Edward, the 5th Earl of Sandwich. The other, the Duke of Cleveland. So when the last Duke of Cleveland died, all the Bolton property came back to the Earl of Sandwich.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's the connection. Amazing.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, it was just wonderful as you were rolling this out, and I saw that connection, and then I see Fane, Sandwich, Montague, and then Paulet, and Duke of Bolton, and it's
all there.
It's all here. So let me ask you a question, though, because this is something I don't understand.
Okay.
You have Mary Paulet, who was the 5th Countess of Sandwich, her half-sister, who was, again, half-sister marries Lord Barnard, Henry Vane. But in the letter, it says that the land then went back to the Montague Sandwich after the Duke of Cleveland dies.
After the last Duke dies.
Yes.
Yeah. So William Harry here
Yeah.
is the first Duke of Cleveland.
Okay.
He is followed by his 3 sons.
So they have 3 sons. And her half-sister...
They have 3 sons together, and they all become the Duke of Cleveland because the 3 sons all die without sons of their own. So the Duke that you're talking about, who died and then the land went across, is the 4th Duke of Cleveland, who was the youngest son of this guy here and Catherine.
And Catherine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then that's why they didn't have any heirs. So then it went back
to
the Sandwich line.
That's it, exactly.
Because there were male heirs.
And that's just the power of archives. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. So it'd be interesting to, again, come back here one day and look at those archives around what happened to the land in West Dorset.
We'll have material around that. And, you know, him and the 4th Duke and his wife are really interesting characters as well. She wrote a lot. She was a great historian herself. So I'm sure that we'll be able to dig out some more information for you in future.
Oh my gosh. The power of archives, as you say, it's just so fascinating and fun.
It's how one thing that I brought out because it was beautiful unlocks so many connections. It's fabulous.
So true. The stories of those who once called Raby home aren't confined to the archives. Its rooms transport you to another time. Each space a living record, echoing the lives and legacies of Harry's ancestors.
Come on into the Duke's rooms.
Okay, this does not feel like I'm in a castle right now. I'm in the deepest, darkest something within the castle. Where are we?
These are known as the Duke's rooms because the Duke of Cleveland and Southampton, who was sister to Baroness Barnard, going back to the 18th century, moved here when his wife died. He had no children. And blood-wise, he has absolutely nothing to do with the Duke of Cleveland later on. So It was a completely separate title, the Duke of Cleveland Southampton. And so he took this suite of rooms, and these were known as the Duke's rooms.
Okay, right. So he lived here for a while.
Yeah.
And that was what, 18th century?
Yes.
And then what happened to these rooms?
These rooms were then taken by Harry's grandparents, and they lived in them, and they are now as they were when they lived here. So absolutely nothing has changed. And I can imagine them in an evening, with some friends playing snooker, playing billiards, as it would have been then.
Well, because
drinking whiskey, really.
Yeah.
They lived in this tower, so their bedroom is above here as well. There's also a door that takes you outside. So they would have had a life that took them in and out of the castle,
Yes.
and they would have gone and had supper in the dining room in the castle at the end of the day, and then retired here.
Right.
And then had a glass of whiskey and gone to bed, I should think.
So it's like a mini apartment, really, within. But again, even the scale of these rooms are just so much smaller than, of course, the staterooms we've been viewing. This feels like a home.
Yeah.
Warm.
Warm. Yeah, it would have been warm.
Oh my goodness! So this is where your grandparents lived. Do you remember them at all?
Well, my grandmother I remember very well, but my grandfather died when I was 4 years old, so I don't really remember him particularly well. I do remember meeting him in the entrance hall. He was this figure in a porter's chair and quite scary as a small child, I always thought. I think he was a very shy man, actually. But he clearly, the sense of him is alive and well in his study and sitting room, which we'll go to in a moment.
Okay, so you haven't done anything since they've sort of been gathered. You've left it as is.
I mean, when he died in 1964, Harry's father sort of shut the doors and had the rooms cleaned every year. But apart from that, nothing has been moved, and it's just a step back in time.
Yeah. Can I go step back in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fantastic.
And into their sitting room.
Oh. I feel like I'm in a completely different place. Like a completely different place. The smell of tobacco. This reminds me of my grandparents' house when I was growing up.
And it doesn't leave either. I mean, it's if the door's been shut a long time, it's stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to look at the ceiling to see that it's quite dark. But
Presumably that was sort of an off-white, perhaps?
I would have thought so. And gilded, I would have thought.
Yes.
You can just about see under the tobacco smoke. But
So they lived here, your grandparents lived here, this was their sitting room. I mean, it's so unbelievably cozy. And you can imagine that, I guess for them, it was an opportunity to sort of create a home within this vast castle.
and they want to be warm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, so at the end of the day, you want to sit down and be cozy and warm and not have, you don't have huge numbers of staff and you don't want huge numbers of staff around you. You want to be able to go and pour yourself a drink or make yourself a cup of tea or any of those sort of things. You know, and in a castle this size, if you have to walk for half a mile to go and make a cup of tea, there's no fun in it.
Right. Yeah. It's absolutely. So this room, a little bit about this room, because it's been unchanged. I mean, I feel like I've just walked into literally your grandparents' sitting room and they were just here 5 minutes ago.
Well, in 1964, Harry's grandfather died. And at that point, Harry's grandmother stayed here for another year, but Harry's father decided to shut the doors and leave it as is, keep it clean. But there was no reason, and with a castle this size, there's no reason to go back and use the same rooms again. You just move on to somewhere else.
Right.
Which is exactly
Because
what
you
he
can.
did. Yeah,
Right.
so you just shut the doors and you leave it as it is. And nobody's bothered since 1964, bothered or wanted to move anything, needed to move anything.
Yeah, but it's just looking around. You can see sort of the letters here folded over.
Yes, there's tapers here for the fire.
Oh my goodness.
You know, these are just fantastic. So these, you know, it's just make do and mend. There's no point wasting money on buying things. So these were all letters cut in half and then folded. Or there's the odd check, because of course in those days your check was sent back to you.
Oh yes.
You know, so I think there's one.
Nothing was ever thrown away.
Yeah, not wasted.
You're right.
Oh, £750, Barnard. That's
wow.
a lot of money.
That is.
I don't know who it was to.
Especially then.
Yeah.
So
Raby Castle accounts. yeah.
And even, again, looking around, you can see your grandfather's desk, and it looks like it was exactly almost as he left it.
Yeah.
Just little trinkets there. He's got papers, he's got some folders. Do you ever think of opening up this to the public? Because this is something that I know, I mean, I'm so happy to be able to view it right now, but as a visitor, because it might seem on the one hand, well, this was only, 100 years ago, but actually, do you know, it's social history.
We do open it to the public a little bit. We have a short tour. It's quite a difficult space to manage because you can't get very many people in here. And so they're very rare, those tours, and it's also quite delicate.
Yes, and there's lots of bits around.
Yeah.
There's lots of bits around.
Yeah.
So, well, I feel very honored to see this because, number one, it reminds me of that smell of my own grandparents. So it's quite nostalgic and wonderful. Memories are coming back. Exactly the room that my grandparents sat in, the chair. When I look at that chair there, you can remember the chair. But keeping it as is, I think that was actually quite clever of your father. Just sort of close the door.
Yeah.
And leave it.
Yeah.
Because now we have it today.
We still have it today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When did Raby Castle open up to the public, roughly?
I think it was your grandfather, wasn't it?
Well, there's always been some visitors all the way through. If people wanted to visit, the housekeeper often was the one who showed people around, but you sort of made an appointment and so on, even back sort of 18th, 19th centuries.
Right.
But yes, more so obviously in the 20th century. My grandfather, I think, had a very limited opening, and then my father then actually opened it up a lot more.
Okay.
And we've opened it up a lot more as well. I mean, my father didn't open, for example, on a Saturday, and it was quite low key, if you like.
But I think it's, you know, it's such an amazing collection. It's such wonderful things to see. You can't really keep them to one per person, to one family. They're there to be shared.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Well, fantastic. Tell me a little bit about the chimney piece here.
This is, we reckon this is Garrett. I think underneath the thick green paint, it's really beautifully carved. I mean, these cockerels are completely alive coming out. And I don't know much about the cherubs, but it is just beautifully, beautifully carved.
No, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And just even the marble surround there. Yeah. Fantastic.
I think it's quite a grand room underneath all of this. You know, it's a grand ceiling. It's a fantastic chimney piece.
Yeah. And here's where history lives.
Yes.
Really, really lives. I mean, you can see it and you can smell it as well.
Yeah. No, I think they were a happy couple as well in here. You know, it was a happy way of life.
Yeah, I can see that.
Good.
Throughout the castle, rooms stand as quiet keepers of untold stories. Their walls etched with the memories and secrets of those who once lived and worked here.
I love coming into just sort of the non-accessible rooms for the public. This is exciting.
This is known as the Housemaids' bedrooms. Whether it was or not, we're not really very sure. But I mean, all the original colours. It doesn't feel like a bedroom to me, although there's a bed here. But it could have been.
Yeah.
And it might have been at one point and then changed into something else. There's always room for improvement.
Sink?
Yep.
You have bells,
Yep.
right? Bell there. You have fire. I mean, do you think that keeping this room as it is, because of course it tells a story?
Yes, there's no reason to change it.
Right.
Unless you need a room and you've got a good reason to change it, you might as well let it carry on telling its story.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you maintain it and keep it clean.
Yes.
And check that nothing's deteriorating.
Exactly. I mean, I even like the color green and the stenciling.
I love
around
it. I think the colour's just fantastic.
It's brilliant.
Anyway,
Right.
lead on to
Okay.
the mattress room.
Mattress room.
Oh my goodness.
And this is just years and years.
I think what you
Centuries?
have to... Yes, I think what happens is that somebody says, oh, I need to get rid of that mattress. And it's a long way to walk to take things out of the castle. And so you think, oh, well, I'll just go and put it in the next door room. And before you know it, you've got sort of 3 mattresses, 4 mattresses, 5, and before you know it, hundreds of mattresses. And my real horror in this one is that we have it checked for bugs every year, and it's got, and we've never found bugs. So that's the good news.
That's positive.
The bad news is just recently somebody's come in and we said, oh, well, we've never found any bugs. And they said, of course you haven't. There's so much stuff inside the mattresses, they won't come out. And you think, so I'm afraid it will be dismantled soon.
And, might I add, you've got some good rugs there too.
I think the word rugs, possibly good, might be stretching it a little bit. But
what I meant was a good stash.
Yes, a good stash. You're right. There's a lot. I mean, all these cupboards are full. Wherever you look, they're just full of, and it'd be nice to think they're full of treasures, but they're not. They're full of stuff that tell a history.
Yes.
And
the question is what to do with that. But this to me is outstanding to walk in here and see this.
And sadly, when we get rid of it, you'll come into an empty room, and that'll be really depressing.
Right. I mean, this is a treasure trove.
It is, but at the same time, it's also a fire hazard.
Yeah. So, okay, well, just take your time dismantling it.
Yes.
Because also, I've noticed these.
Yeah.
So, again, steps up, defending.
Yes, to look out of a window.
Yep, exactly.
And light, I think.
Yeah.
And light. And there is lovely light. Oh, brilliant. This was a real treat to see this. The mattress room, I shall never forget.
Well, welcome to the Hunter's Gallery.
Fantastic.
We'll start in Cecili's, which is one of the bedrooms on this gallery.
Right. So coming into these bedrooms here, how many do you think there are sort of along the Hunter's Gallery?
4 plus a few dressing rooms.
Okay. Is this a project that you think possibly you want to eventually embark on?
It would lovely to. It's the most beautiful gallery, and they're wonderful rooms, and I'd love to see them restored. Although I don't want to lose their feeling. So I mean, I love this wallpaper, which is just so pretty. But how do I get electricity in here without damaging it?
My gosh, right. Yeah. So there's no electricity.
No, I mean, there are sockets and plugs and things, but there's no circuit in them.
No,
I mean,
no.
They're obsolete.
But it's wonderful. So this was, of course, back in the day, used as guest bedrooms when entertaining hospitality was happening. This is where guests would come and stay. And this is an exciting project for you both.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next, right?
Come on, let's keep going. Yeah.
So Julie, this is, as mentioned, this is the Hunter's Gallery. It's an 18th century part of the castle, designed by Daniel Garrett.
And it's amazing to see these rooms that are just off the side.
Yeah.
Like this one in here.
This is the alcove bedroom.
This is the alcove bedroom.
It's got such pretty wallpaper.
And it has columns.
Yeah. No, there's hence the alcove, because you're always carving rooms out of a medieval castle, so you're always having to work with the shapes that you had before.
Okay.
And there's vaulted ceilings above here from the original shape of the castle, and then to make it into 18th century, you had to bring down the ceiling and make it sort of square.
So this is the Georgians who came in and they thought, right, we've got to make this a living home.
no longer, of course, this castle of defense, and therefore we're putting in the ceilings, we're covering up the vaulted ceilings above, and then putting the gorgeous plaster that we see.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Really, really beautiful bedroom.
No, it's absolutely lovely.
Really beautiful bedroom. And these are, I guess, bedrooms and the Hunter's Gallery are something that you're thinking about as a project further along the line.
Yes, I mean, the restoration is keenly needed. It's such a beautiful space, and I'd love to see it, return back to some sort of use. It'll be lovely to use, won't it? And into the state bedroom.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely vast.
This is called the state bedroom, but actually originally it was the main sort of salon, if you like.
Really?
Before the south front was developed. It's quite close to the kitchen, which is, well, it's all relative, but there's a set of stairs that go directly down to the kitchen.
Okay.
And so this would have been the main kind of living room in the very early 18th century, before the other rooms on the south front were done up.
Okay. And then it became a state bedroom.
There was enough sort of living rooms, reception rooms, but you could do with another bedroom, and it was a grand bedroom if you had, your top status guests staying.
Yeah.
So.
And you'd have, I guess, a suite of rooms, because I think state bedrooms, you'd always have at least one other room.
We'd love to maybe do this room up at some point.
Right,
and
so
get
possibly
grips with
future
it, but
project.
Yes,
At
definitely.
the moment, obviously, it's a bit of a storeroom, really.
This caught my eye, this very grand bed, and it looks like coat of arms, possibly a little bit of royalty in there.
Yes, bit of royalty. This is yet another one of many things that just needs restoration, which we'll get round to in time, because it's absolutely magnificent.
It is magnificent, but that's fun then, because then,
Yeah.
you're always looking to stabilize, conserve, restore.
Gives you something to do.
Like you don't have enough to do. Okay, so I'm here spending the night, and then I have my suite of rooms.
Well, yes, you wouldn't just have the one room, you need a dressing room.
Absolutely. So I've just woken up, or maybe I'm going to bed, but this is my sort of space, is that right?
Yeah, this is somewhere for you to change and have your clothes laid out for dinner, and just maybe sit and write a letter in the afternoon once you've had a walk and you just want to have a bit of peace.
Yeah, and lovely light coming in from both of these rooms. But again, is this 18th century, the decor that I see here?
Yes, within a 14th century tower, but
Yes.
it's 18th century. Architects involved were Daniel Garrett and James Payne. This was a dressing room for the state bedroom, but before that, this would have been the dining room.
Really?
So we have the salon and the dining room.
Lovely space to have a dining room, because then you've got a lovely fire, and the carvings on the chimney piece they're
Bacchus.
Yeah,
So
Bacchus.
Bacchus.
Yes.
You've got all the grapes hanging down.
Yeah.
So it would be natural. And then you have these lovely plasterwork pieces on the wall of battle music and hunting there.
Fantastic.
And this extraordinary wallpaper that
Yeah.
I absolutely love. And then there's a piece over here, the bed that is now sitting here as a bedroom, as it's a bedroom. Which is 18th century painted silk. Again, it needs work on it, and it needs loving, and it needs to be on display. But we can't do that until we know we've stabilised it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And loved it into...
Yeah, but look at, painted
Yeah.
silk. And it's so vibrant, the colour.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing.
But it's interesting which, obviously it depends on how you've dyed it. So it's interesting to know that, for instance, some of the green, a certain shade of green tends to eat its way through the silk because it's too strong. So you'll suddenly have a shape with a hole in it because it's the wrong colour.
Right. And this is clever to put this on and just make sure that it's not affected by the light or pests or anything like that.
Yeah.
So what are future plans for these two rooms? Do you have any ideas? Going through your head.
Well, what I'd love to do is get this back to being a dining room and a salon as well next door. So it works really well within a layout that we've both been working on with architects And as I say, it's not to, as I said before, it's not to do with something that I actually might manage in my lifetime, but to try and find a layout that works within the castle.
Yes.
Somebody else can take that on if they choose to or not.
Yeah. But they're absolutely splendid rooms, and they've, again, the color is still so vibrant 300 years later. All right, well, I can't wait to come back and visit when you've...
Yes.
I know you're going to do it.
Come for dinner.
All right, accepted.
Yeah.
Built in the 14th century, Raby Castle has been home to the Vane family for the past 400 years. Harry and Kate, Lord and Lady Barnard, have recently completed an impressive redevelopment project in the gardens that has been years in the making.
So before this big project, which you call the Rising,
Yes.
so the big project, you've come in here, you've been running it for 8 years, and then what, as soon as you took things over, you were like, we need to do something.
It wasn't straight away, it was, we need to sort of work out what on earth this place is about. And we felt that we needed to have a place for people to come and enjoy the place and be proud of. So we started with the Rising, and the first person to join the team was the garden designer.
Okay.
So Luciano Giubili, who's the Italian garden designer,
Yeah.
who's done a wonderful job. And I remember him coming up, it was 7 years ago, and we stood at the castle looking over the gardens, thinking, well, now what? And I said, well, you know, the walls are listed, the ponds listed, you know, I like this bit that's listed, and the elephantine yew hedges, we've got to keep those. And
Right.
and then then after that there was all the planning permissions and obviously finance
Yes,
and
yes.
everything else that goes with that. Then we took on 6 years ago another landscape architect, Alistair Baldwin, who has done everything outside the walled garden. Because
Okay.
the entire site is 27 acres.
Okay.
If you take in the car park and you take in the Plotters Forest, which is the adventure playground,
Yes.
as well as all of this, you have a lot of heritage buildings. So
Yes.
really 27 acres, we have turned over every last inch in order to get it to what it is.
So you knew that that's kind of what you had to work with, was 27 acres to create something that the public can come in,
Yeah.
really enjoy the
Yeah.
outdoors, the
Yes.
indoors, but also, let's just talk about this view quickly, because you mentioned that this was just, it was flat. So you didn't have this, so if I were to walk in, I wouldn't have this spectacular view. Did you have
There was a hedge that had obviously been laid down there that was a beech hedge, and it was
Right.
100 foot tall, so you couldn't see across it, through it, beyond. So it wasn't until that hedge came down that we realised just how good our view was. We'd already planned to put in a restaurant here
Okay.
and that sort of thing. So we knew it was the right place because it lent itself to
Yeah.
the new car park that was going out at the back.
Well, you can see the flag flying from here.
Oh, it's
So-
it's just the most spectacular view.
Yeah, it really is. But then you decided to terrace up to get to this point.
Yes. So well, we needed to design the garden
Yes.
to make it work and access and how people would work. And the building there, which is the roundhouse,
Yes.
is a new building.
Okay.
That's the only one that's new, and that there was inspiration from barns. We've got a lovely round barn a few miles away on the estate. I think is one of the prettiest things ever. And so we rejigged that and then recreated the roundhouse.
Beautiful. And then you're starting to look at the building behind me.
So this is the vinery. So this is our restaurant. This is on the site of an old vinery that was here.
Oh.
So that hence it's the vinery and the vinery garden.
It's beautiful and it's open. Look at all the windows there. Absolutely fantastic. So you can enjoy your
Yeah.
meal or your cup of coffee or, your glass of rosé and looking out. I mean, that's exceptional.
What's even more bizarre about it is, although we're looking out over it, from the other side, because of the topography, you can't actually see this at all. It's completely hidden away, so it's not affecting the view from the castle. You can see a few windows. They're in parts of the castle that have got archives in them and they're not used quite so much.
Right.
So that works really well.
Yeah. What was in the whole of the project, which took you, it sounds like about 7 years from thought
Yes.
to where we are today, what was the first, I guess, where did you break ground first?
Oh, we broke ground just here.
Right,
We
okay.
literally we dug in, and I remember the day very well when we just dug in. But that was a bit ceremonial. The building work took about 19, 20 months.
Okay.
And we had a lot of people on site. We have an amazing team. The team was absolutely fantastic, incredibly professional. And on top of that, so proud of their work. I mean, the quality is unbelievable. Yeah. And we were able to bring in different departments of the estate. So, for instance, there's a table in front of us here that's a wonderful 6 inches deep piece of oak. That was windfall from a hurricane in the park. Wow. And the forestry department were able to bring that in and make that up. So,
and upcycle it. It's fantastic.
Yes. And you'll find that nearly everything, about 80% of the stuff that we've used, the materials we've used here, are upcycled and found around the estate or reclaimed from somewhere else.
Wonderful. Beautiful table, and wonderful that you're upcycling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, energy was a massive part of the project. So, whether you're using old materials or whether we've got a way of heating the place. So 60% of our energy on site comes from our geothermal site, which is just on the edge of the park, where we have had to dig down 2 wells of 130 metres in order to extract the heat out of the water below.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you put back the cold water, and I think the ducks in the pond get slightly cold bottoms, but apart from that, it all seems fine.
That is brilliant. Yeah. That is very clever.
Yeah. We'll start in the west garden.
Okay. Wow. How many acres gardens in total?
The wall garden is about 5.5 acres.
So what am I walking through now?
This is a wisteria arch and a rose arch. So once it's grown up, so it's all new. This is a west garden. With these amazing grasses and wonderful topiary, and I think it's absolutely magical.
So I'm just going to stand here and look out, because super clever. It's so clever.
It's like a veil. It's like a veil that's just sort of wafting away, and it's just such a lovely place to sit and enjoy.
Yeah, when you watch them, it's quite meditative. Yeah. So you can just sit here and watch the movement. Yeah. In the wind.
Yeah, no, it's...
look, it's like a chorus.
Yeah, it's wonderful watching the whole ripple effect. So that's been...
So that is very... So we've got magnolia, wisteria, roses here, and then once this starts to grow, wow, I can't even imagine the scent.
No, it'll be absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited about it. I mean, it's not just Luciana who designed it, but the team has done a fantastic job as well.
Okay, so this is like stage 1, really, because it's 5 acres, over 5 acres.
Yes, so this is only one room.
Yeah, one room, exactly. Yeah. Wonderful. What room am I in now?
You're now in the formal gardens. When discussing what to do here, the only thing that Luciano wasn't allowed to touch, which we were all in agreement with, the elephantine yew hedges, which are just spectacular, and the pond. So they've stayed, and then everything else has been revamped, reloved, rethought about, redesigned.
And the water, there's a real water element here.
Yeah, and it's very gentle. A lot of time was spent discussing the speed of the water. So obviously you could have it going straight down and then it would move much faster. But we've stepped it so that it's a gentle flow down. So the idea is to feel truly relaxed as you're sitting here. So it comes from the reservoir there, top reservoir, into a trough here, which was just a field trough. And then,
so again, upcycled?
Oh, absolutely. And then down into the pond, and then it carries on down to the gate.
Gosh. It is, again, such a lovely space, and the sound of the water
it's just gentle.
It's absolutely outstanding, and it's lovely to see all the bees going all around me, which is fantastic. I mean, I love this because it is a bit sort of wild. Yeah.
A lot of the planting comes into the path. Considering this is a new garden, it's looking quite mature in the respect that it creeps. It creeps into the path.
Fantastic. So this room,
So we're now in the East Garden.
okay, East Garden, yes.
And Luciana's designed this with two woodland walks. So one coming down this way and one coming down the other side of the room, if you like.
Right, okay.
And it's quite brave to put a woodland walk in a walled garden, because a walled garden's always seen to be quite formal. And this is, very sort of...
Well, it's a bit
overgrown.
wild.
It's
I love it, yeah.
And these amalanthia and the blossom at the right time of year in here again is absolutely extraordinary. It's completely alive.
Incredible. And how you were very involved, because I can just hear you can name everything. So you were very involved in this. Did you have sort of a horticultural background?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not a plantsman at all. In fact, I'm afraid naming things is definitely something I find quite tricky. But I love design. I'm passionate about design and making things work. So I spend a lot of time sort of working with that and just finding routes through, and I love colour and space and this has worked so well. I mean, such a lovely place to sit and while away some hours.
Exactly. And when Lucian presented to you the designs, were you immediately on board, or did you sort of change up a few things? Because sometimes...
did I? No, I don't think I did. I talked things through. When I first looked at them, thought, I'm not sure. Help.
Right.
And then talking things through and understanding them, we did really well at that. And I then understood what he was trying to get to and why he was doing it and bringing it into the area. And because it's not just about the walled garden; it's about the park beyond and what you see.
Exactly. What room are we now?
Well, we're still in the East Garden,
right?
But we are now in the amphitheatre. So we're going to head up through the amphitheatre, which is where we put on our plays. And we can see quite a lot of people in there. It reminds me of a sort of Teletubby land, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So people can come here and enjoy
the theatre. We put on concerts and all sorts of things.
Wow, fantastic. Beautiful building.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yes.
This is the coach houses.
So tell me a little bit of the history of this, because this is obviously not a new building.
No, this is Car of York, and it's about 1720. And it's just on such a major scale, and yet you've never been able to see it from a distance, because there's always been the walled garden in front of it. So, I mean, it's 110 metres long. I mean, it is vast.
Yep.
And true to form with Raby, it holds the coaches. So we've always had coaches in here until now. You've got stalls at each end, and the coaches were mainly in the middle. And you can see by these arches that you were able to take coaches in and out.
It's putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, we're just going to do the walled garden and a restaurant. No, you thought quite hard about all these other buildings around within these 27 acres.
Yes. So one of the biggest problems we had was access. So getting from these enormously long buildings, there were no access across the buildings because you couldn't get through behind. So in fact, we worked with the planners, and the planners were really helpful, allowing us to get into the buildings behind and get beyond.
Right.
So to understand the long buildings, we've managed to access the middle. So obviously you could access the middle of this, but you couldn't then get through to the other side, which takes you to the riding school, and then you couldn't get into the riding school, and you couldn't get beyond to the Dutch barn because there was no access in the
So
middle.
they let you create doors, which I
very,
know it can be difficult to get that planning permission.
Yes, we worked well with the planners, and they understood what we were doing, we understood what they wanted, and we've ended up with a place that I think looks historically correct.
It does, and it's obviously sympathetic to the 1,000 years of history here. So what's inside the coach house?
So now, to the right, we've got the shop, straight ahead shop. And
beautiful.
Right, and then on the other end, we've got interpretation, telling you about the story of the family, and more importantly, the story of the Dale, and what goes on in Teasdale, which is so important to us, and because we're more than just the castle.
Yes.
We're really about Teasdale and the people of Teasdale, and it's so important that people understand that.
Now this interpretation.
Yes.
Do you want to show me?
Absolutely show you. on in. This is what we've used for interpretation. And this table, for instance, is a model of Teasdale.
So this is a large piece of wood.
Yes, this is our own oak.
Okay.
From the estate, and it's been carved in Barnard Castle, only 10 miles
Yes.
away. And all these pieces depict different parts of the Dale, and the topography is of Teasdale.
Incredible. But what was your inspiration behind this? I mean, you came up with this idea.
I came up with the idea. Other people translated
Yes,
what I said,
yes.
so vocalising it. I think I eventually said I want to feel like Gulliver, standing over Teasdale and seeing what goes on. The flora and fauna of Teasdale are absolutely exceptional, and I just would like people to understand a little bit of it and the work that the farmers do in order to maintain it.
Right. Oh, so here it comes.
Home of Raby Estate, where a beautiful landscape shaped by the constant flow of the River Tees is peppered with white cottages. Where the dramatic cascades of cauldron snow.
Those are the houses, is that right?
Yeah.
From Roman soldiers to medieval foresters, farmers to lead mines.
Incredible.
Oh, it is magic, isn't it?
It's magic.
And
Absolute
actually
magic.
the wood, the grains in the wood make a big difference to it.
That is what's so clever. But as you get closer, you can see little bits
You can see the knots.
Yep.
So it takes you through the seasons
Right.
of what you might expect to see.
You just want to sit here and watch it and listen. It's very sensory.
Yeah.
And that's what's so
Yeah,
brilliant about
is.
it. This is not what I was expecting when you said an interpretation. This is,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant and beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, I thought I had seen it all, but I clearly haven't. This is enormous.
It's our new Baron's Hall.
What was this and what will this become?
This was the riding school, and it's still known as the riding school, but we're letting it out as event spaces now, or we will be very soon. I've still got the coaches from the coach house, so 3 coaches are going in here, in the hallway, if you like, so those will always be on display.
Right.
And then you can either rent the whole thing, or you can just take one end or another end, and we have these screens that'll...
Yeah, I can see the
So
screens.
it's events.
It's events.
Yeah.
So how many, if I wanted to rent out the entire space, how many people could, I mean, this is it's like 5 Olympic-sized pools here.
Well, we reckon 500 people you can seat in here. Wow. Which is a good number.
Kate, this is amazing.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely
it's
amazing.
Fantastic. Well, let me take you through to the next event space.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's so beautiful. I feel like I've just stepped into a piazza of...
Yes, you wouldn't be the first to say that.
Right.
But it does feel like that. And this is known as the Dutch barn, and it was a hay barn, and it was where the hay was kept. I mean, you've got to remember the Dukes did love their horses, so, you know, the hay had to be the best hay. And this is, to me, this is so typical of, you know, the sort of architects the Dukes would do. It's utterly beautiful, very simple.
Beautiful.
Really simple and really solid and really good quality.
Yeah. This is going to be used for what? You mentioned events.
Events. So you'll be able to take it, whether you take it with the riding school or for this. But we do markets, so we'll do markets at certain times.
So it is. I've come to Italy.
Yes,
I have.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're
right.
I don't know how many local olives we'll be selling, but we will be. Well, I don't know.
Absolutely beautiful. Should we have
Yes.
a walk through Florence here?
Yes.
Back in the historic quarters of the castle, I had the opportunity to ask Kate and Harry what it's really like to take on a place as vast as Raby.
I want to, I guess, start with you, Kate, first and foremost. We are similar in that we've sort of married into this world, not having been a part of it really in the past.
Yeah.
And what was it like for you first, knowing that one day, you know, you were going to have to manage this lovely beast, and then 8 years ago when you did take it on?
Well, I think when we first got married, and I thought, well, that'll be one day. You know, I was quite young and probably quite naive and thinking, oh, that can't be too difficult. It'll be absolutely fine. I mean, of course it'll be fine. Why not? And then I think the reality of, you know, 8 years ago when we inherited, I think then the reality of, oh, this is much bigger than I thought it was. I had no idea, honestly, I had absolutely no idea of the scale of what we were taking on. And I also presumed that it wouldn't, how difficult can it be? And there's no difficulty, it's just trying to understand the past in order to educate yourself for the future, so that you're not dragging it through eras. I mean, when we first inherited, I presumed that the estate was probably, Harry's father was running it probably in a way that he was maybe 1980s or something like that, because he was an old man. But it became quite obvious that actually some of it was really quite far behind,
right?
In a good way, in the respect that it hadn't been dragged through the 60s and the 70s, and you know, there aren't sort of endless wires here, and there hasn't been sort of walls knocked out, and the cornice is still here because, you know, in the 70s it would have been really uncool and ripped out. So, you know, we've got great bones to work with, but I don't want to make the mistake of being the generation that then comes in and rips something out because it's fashionable. So, you know, it's all about learning.
Yeah.
And within the castle, we've done very little as a result so far, because I'm still trying to get to grips with what we will do, and I've got a pretty good idea of what we will do, but it's just gently.
Yeah, gently. And it's only been 8 years. And I think it's also worth noting that Raby it's vast. I mean, it goes on and on. So, you know, in my mind, this is a big task. I guess the both of you together, when you inherited it 8 years ago, did you have a plan? I mean, were you thinking of that prior to having taken on this castle?
I had absolutely no plan whatsoever. I didn't really know, because I was not brought up here. My grandparents were here. I was brought up in a house a few miles away from here. So although my father latterly lived back here, I didn't actually know it massively well, but I love the place, but I just didn't know it too well. So coming in for the first time, it was like, not quite, well, what's here? But okay, I knew the main parts, but there was bits and places all over the castle I didn't really know. And as you say, the scale is big, but also it's an incredibly complicated place because it spans so many centuries. So it's obviously got the medieval, and even within the medieval, there are so many major changes because it was lived in the whole time. So things constantly changed. And then, you know, there was a bit of 17th century. There's not a huge amount of that existing today, but quite a lot of 18th century, and then the 19th century, and then more Edwardian and more modern. So it's a very complicated place to get to know properly. And I think, as Kate was saying, our feelings sort of, you need to understand it before making changes, because you need to understand what sort of went before and what the context is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's a lot of thought that must have gone and continues to go into it. And I understand holding back for the time being and saying, right, we've got to just let this settle, because you decided to do something outside the castle walls. That was your first big project, the Rising.
Where did that inspiration come from?
I think it stems probably from community. I think that the gardens needed some work on it. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, we needed something to be proud of. We needed to make Raby more relevant in the area because it was becoming less and less relevant. We had these incredibly beautiful buildings within the park around, just next to the gardens. And so we felt that by sorting all of that out, we'd have somewhere for people to come, and we'd be a better employer. We'd be able to employ more people. We'd have another reason for people to come, and it's worked. I mean, the extraordinary part is, one, the gardens look fantastic, and people are coming to use them, to sit in them, to eat in the vinery, and at the same time, we've restored all these buildings that were falling apart. They were, the Dutch barn had no use except to house rubbish, and the riding school was not falling apart, but it needed some attention. And we thought, we'll do it in phases, and it became so clear early on that actually phase one was nearly all of it. So it's been a massive project, but it's wonderful. I mean, 27 acres. Yeah. That we've turned over every last square inch of the place, and worried over each of those square inches. Which is that gravel? No, it's stone. Which type of stone? And all of those things. It's to make it look like it's always been there, in the hope that now people will arrive and go, they can't have done much here.
Right.
But which is the aim.
Which is the aim, of course.
Yeah.
Do you feel now? I mean, I've been out, visiting the Rising, and it's just filled, it's brimming with people and happy, and the restaurant was packed. Every single table was completely taken.
It is, it's wonderful seeing. I mean, it's just seeing the place being relevant and useful and people wanting to come, and we've put so much time and energy into making it a place that people are going to feel they want to come to and feel welcome. And, we've got a great team of people who do make people, come in, this is the way to do it. We've got food here, we've got, sit down, be warm, there's your dog, can have a drink. It's supposed to feel comfortable.
Yes.
And you're supposed to feel like you're looked after the moment you walk
in. And the
door.
view. I mean, the view. Clever.
Who'd have known that was there?
Gosh.
One lady the other day turned to me the other day and said, "Can't thank you enough. I mean, how long did it take you to move the castle a few inches to the right?" It's, it's silly, but there was this enormous hedge halfway down, so you didn't see the view from the vinery straight out until that came down, and then we were all slightly sort of, it's quite good, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
And nicely framed by trees. Couldn't have been luckier.
Beautiful. And I mean, really stunning. And do you think, the both of you, that this is a legacy project? And I guess I'm asking that question because yes, had you been here, running the castle for 20 years, I would have thought, well, this is your legacy project. But you've only been here for 8 years. So is there another project on the horizon? Exhausted.
Yes, is the answer. Yes, let me at it. No, there's so many things to do. I mean, there's so many projects to have a go. I mean, there's the castle, which is I would love to get going on that. So that's the next thing in my mind. There's obviously Harry and all the environmental stuff that we do on the estate. Harry and Regen and the wildlife in the Upper Dale, and there's a lot. There's so many projects.
Yeah. And we can never, as custodians, we have to accept that we can never do them all. It's just impossible.
You have to prioritise, I think, and when we do work here, we'll have to very much prioritise and phase things over quite a period. I think some things will be kind of intergenerational, because that's how they've been before, really. But yeah, there's definitely stuff we can be doing.
Another question, I'd love to find out I know you said you didn't grow up here, but you obviously visited here many, many times. I mean, your grandparents were here, your father then eventually came here. What are some of your fondest memories here at the castle?
Well, I have memories of when I was, I suppose, very young, when I first went here, and I really only remember the entrance hall and the Baron's Hall. I remember my grandfather sitting in the porter's chair, which is a kind of leather-bound chair with a hood on it. You could hardly see him. He was tiny, and he didn't really say anything. But as a small child, I do remember him, but I don't remember him ever speaking.
Right.
I also remember there was a stuffed crocodile under the wooden sort of sofa there, which was obviously, quite exciting. And there were lots of kind of secret passages and stuff like that. I say I didn't really move out of the entrance hall and Baron's Hall, but we did occasionally go round, and, I'd like to say it was a great place for hide and seek. It probably wasn't. You'd never be found.
I was going to ask you, just get lost. You wouldn't find anybody.
No, we never did that, actually. And then there used to be the odd party, actually, for all the children of employees who worked on the estate. There'd be a Christmas party. So I do have memories of that as well. And then, later on, my father sort of had his offices here as well. So for meetings and things, we come here.
Right. Kate, can I ask you, heritage and community, and again, this incredible castle, but what you both have created outside the castle walls. How important is that for Raby's future, to making sure that it stays and it's preserved? And I think also we can say, and it's as much as we possibly can say this, that it stays within the family, because the family is where the history is going to be better told from, the both of you, but also your stories then are here as well. And those will be told by, future generations. And how important do you think, I guess, combining heritage and community together?
I think it's massively important that it's there, that we have, in some respects, not only are we, a family home, but we're a business, and you can't just sit as a business. It's got to move forward, and things have got to carry on happening. And with a family, you're in a really lucky position that you're able to make a decision, amongst a small group of people and move it forward. And so we're able to look at the Rising, for instance, and go, right, this is what we're going to do. We don't have to make everything a decision by committee. It's made by the taste of the family at the time, whether that be right or wrong, but, you just hope you've got it right.
Right.
And that great line that, if you're at committee, somebody says blue and somebody says red, and then you paint it purple that nobody likes. With what we've done here, we're able to do it in a way that I think a family would naturally do it. So it's finding bits and pieces that are around that have always belonged to the family, like bits of stone carving and incorporating them, and what is essentially rubbish actually has a use when it's put in the right place, in the way that a weed is just a perfectly good plant but in the wrong place.
Yes.
So we found it's just made it relevant.
Yeah.
And I think it's made it relevant to the family, and it's something to be proud of, and I think it will drive us forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
And I think, the relevance thing is very important to both of us. And, this place could seem quite imposing and off-putting for some visitors. And I think it's somehow we're getting around that, because people certainly, I do feel that a lot of the local feel that, it's part of their identity, which it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not a museum. We are a home. That's the most important thing, is that it feels like a living, breathing home, and that it's not something set in aspic, and that, each generation comes in and does whatever they want to do and makes it relevant to their time.
Yes, absolutely right. And that's what's so wonderful about these historic houses that we are all a part of is that when I was walking through the rooms, there were pictures of the both of you, wedding day, pictures of your children. And as a visitor, I think that's so important. Personally, I would much rather, go through a house, tour a house, learn about the history, but also see the living history on, the tables and on the bookshelves, and saying, oh, right. So the family still entertains here, or the family has christenings in the chapel still. Wonderful. It hasn't just stopped.
Yeah, and it's extraordinary without the people in it. We were discussing earlier about the people coming and looking around, and when we first inherited it, it was the castle was closed for a good 6 months of the year, and it was terribly sad. You'd come in and you'd there was no noise, there was no reason for anybody to be around, and you sort of begged for March, April to come round, thinking, come on, and then suddenly you'd hear the life come in, and the public are coming round and they're interested, but it would breathe life into us, because we'd have to then sort of discuss whichever painting there happened to be, or what we'd done over the winter to tidy it up. But it really needs people inside it.
Yeah.
There is definitely a natural energy between the stone walls and human energy to get it going.
Yeah.
And we opened up, much more in the winter months and so on. And of course, the first reaction was, well, when are we going to do that deep clean that always happened in the winter? And it usually took about 3 or 4 months to do. And I think everything was, really done to the last degree, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, do you know what? It's still pretty immaculate. It's an incredibly well-maintained castle, considering the enormity of it. But yes, the cleaning side of it is pretty hard if you're only doing it before 10 o'clock.
Right.
But I have no problems with cleaning going on while the public are there. I mean, I don't see, it's a working house. So, if you're washing the windows and someone's walking past, you're washing the windows.
Exactly. And now with the Rising, it's not a seasonal opening.
No.
And that's what's fantastic. And that project has, I think, if I'm correct in saying, has really, I guess, secured that sort of thought that you had, like, we need to be open, pretty much all year round. And we've created something that will allow us to do that as well.
The number of visitors coming to the Rising is, the Rising, I mean, the word Rising, I know, will go, because that was the working title for that area. And it'll go back to being Raby Castle Gardens and Parkland or whatever,
Right.
So the Rising will go away in time, but the castle can only take so many people. The wear and tear on the castle. The idea of what we've done down in the Rising is that the community, people who live around, have always got somewhere to go. So that will be open the whole time. And once yes, go and see the castle every now and again, but you're probably going to come back and walk around the park or walk around the gardens to see the colours change, to see which plants are out, to see what's going on, much more than actually coming into the castle, because you'll have seen the paintings, or you'll know the history, or there may be other things going on, but they're not necessarily always in the castle. So, we've got to be quite aware of wear and tear within the castle.
Of course. And my mother-in-law has this great statement, and she says, and again, she's generalizing here, but she says, people come and see a house once, but they see a garden 4 times a year because of the changing colors.
Yeah.
It's always different.
It's always different, and things grow. And I always think garden designers are absolutely amazing, because I know that if I put a cushion down on a chair, it stays there. But in a garden, the next thing you know is that it's changed colour, it's died, there's a hole there, or, and you just think, how can I keep
producing fruit?
Yeah. Yes. That wasn't what I was prepared for blossom, not fruit,
Exactly.
It's difficult. I think it's a really, really difficult thing to deal with.
Well, listen, thank you both so much. I just have one last question. I mean, you are such a dynamic duo. Looking onto the future, as far as, I guess, when that day comes that the both of you will say, right, we've done it. We've done what we need to do outside. We've done whatever that big project is in the castle. Do you feel right now that both of you are, I guess, in that place, like, you'll be content?
I do think probably, and Kate was very much involved with the absolute day-to-day decisions and actually the overall kind of planning of the rising of what was going on in the gardens and all the visitor elements there. And I think me less so, but nonetheless, speaking for myself, it was a kind of bit of a sigh of relief, shall we say, or when finally it opened. I would say finally. I agree that under 2 years of building work, I think is pretty good for the scale of the project.
Yeah, fantastic achievement.
Yeah, but you know, I think we can. But that would just meant right. Okay, we start looking at other things. Yeah. Some of the things related to the castle will be almost intergenerational. And not just in the castle, in the overall estate as well.
Yeah, but you all know it.
Yeah.
You all know it. It's a way of life, isn't it? You've taken something on, and I don't know that you do park it ever.
Yeah.
I think it's something that...
That's what I was going to add.
Yeah, I think it's something that... I mean, I've got project number 564, you know, on my list of things to do, which fills some with absolute horror. But you know, there's so much to do, and I'd love to do them all. But I do look at certainly the castle with the way I'm looking at the next project here of trying to make this castle cohesive. I'm not going to finish it in my lifetime, absolutely not. But if I can start a project that somebody else can take on and no doubt change, you know, because at the moment the castle's terribly disjointed with the respect that, you know, there's the areas that are open to the public, and then there's my father-in-law's apartment, which are this, and then there you go through a door and you're into Harry's grandparents' apartments that are as is, and then you go through into another apartment that, you know, it's clear that each generation has arrived and gone right, and then gone too big. I'm just going to live in this bit, or let's close the door on the last bit and we'll stay here.
Right.
And it's sort of come to the end of that, and it needs addressing. So there is a way of making this castle work for somebody to live in and find their way around. I mean, one of the most difficult things is finding a way from A to B. And so if we can make a plan that will work for that generation, I'm absolutely sure that my son and daughter-in-law one day, if they choose to take the place on, will take one look at the plan and go, that's not what I want. But at least there's a plan to look at. So if we get a few bits of it done, it means you can carry on. So rewiring X many places, brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of, for me, the next project I can see is this castle needs some loving, and it's, you know, I'm aware it needs some loving, but it needed we needed to get to know it before we did that.
Absolutely. And how, you know, vast it is. It takes a good 8 years, I suspect.
Yeah, just to find your way around. Yes.
Exactly. Well, thank you both so much. I have had an absolutely dream time here, and I haven't even seen all the rooms. One day I'm going to make that a real goal of mine. But fantastic what you both have done and the energy that you've put into not only the castle itself, but the wider estate, and the rising is absolutely tremendous. So hats off to you. You're both a real inspiration, and I can't wait to come back and visit year on and year on.
I've really enjoyed it too. Thank you.
Great.
Please come back.
I will. I will.
I can't wait to see what Kate and Harry do next at Raby. Spending time with them was genuinely inspiring. Their respect and understanding of the past is what shapes the future vision here, and it's the key to breathing new life into these incredible historic homes.